Good evening. It's 7:05. We're going to start this evening with pledges of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I want to point out that I am not Bill Butts. Bill's here. He's
Bill's not Bill Butts yet either.
yeah. Bill's recuperating from a visit to the local hospital, so he's asked me to chair. It's going to be a fun evening. And we're going to start right now. Since we don't have a quorum, I'm going to hold off on the approval of the minutes just to be safe. Do we have any citizens' comments? You want to have a comment, come up and identify yourself? This is going to be a fun evening. Okay. Andrea, are you ready? Did you finish your sandwich? Okay.
You first have to give us an update on your little one.
Oh, he's so cute. My little one, he's so cute.
Oh, yeah.
He's over a year, right?
Yes. I send Heather pictures all the time.
He's adorable.
Send him out here,
really.
Heather.
Share it with us.
Yeah, share them with us.
So I really don't have much to talk about tonight. I'm here to answer any, random questions that you may have regarding things that we've been working on. But just want to let you know, the county office, Land Use Planning and Development has gone through some changes. And so now we are in 2 different departments. So comprehensive planning is now its own department. So we are no longer housed with the GIS folks the way that we've always historically been. So we still want to provide the best service to our municipalities, but we have to do it in a particular way. So any GIS requests that you have to go through me, if possible, and then we'll work with the GIS staff to fill out request forms and all of that stuff.
For us dummies, what is GIS?
Oh, I'm sorry. Geographical Information Systems. It's
yeah.
our computer mapping system. So, but they are the ones who do all of our mapping for plans and everything. So we're going to have to put in requests with them, which is a little bit of a different procedure now. But so, is there anything else? Any questions or anything?
Do you have anything, Heather?
I don't. Andrea and I were together at the round table.
Yeah,
I forgot
the
what it
directors,
was.
planning directors roundtable on Thursday, and it is something that's put forward through Maryland Department of Planning. And what they do is that they kind of go to each jurisdiction and kind of let everybody know what is available for us to utilize. So Heather and I got some really good information about funding sources, some of which I've never heard before, so it was pretty great.
Yeah.
And the whole time Heather and I are like, oh, that could work, that could work.
Yeah.
So it was really
Andrea
good.
and I are at a race against each other to try to, play.
Oh, yeah,
Were those some of the same resources that Melissa Appler mentioned?
They were, and there was some of a bit of an overlap between what we learned at the Joint Commissioner Exchange that Carroll County hosted not too long ago. But it was very informative. So
Yeah, it was, since some of the people were not at our joint meeting, she did repeat some of the information, but also she wasn't the one doing the presenting this time. It was Mary Kendall, who was responsible for like the Sustainable Communities program and things of that nature. So
It just sounded like there was a tremendous number of potential resources, given the priorities we've identified in our master plan, that could potentially be of value to us. So,
well, and with your sustainable communities designation, it opens up so many doors. I'm going to be trying to work with places throughout the county which are not they're not municipalities, but they are priority funding areas to possibly get sustainable community designation for them. But it's really interesting to see what is available to you if you meet that criteria.
okay.
and they've cataloged, so they've actually cataloged all of these resources in a one glance sheet. So that's very, very helpful. So we'll be distributing that as well. And Andrew and I will see each other tomorrow. Are you going to be there?
I am am the liaison. So we do Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. I've come before you guys and kind of explained a little bit about our funding opportunities for that as well. Tomorrow we're having just the Carroll County kind of meeting, if you will, and that's just to let anyone who doesn't know about us come hear about our funding sources, what it is we do, why we do it, and the fact that all the municipalities within Carroll County are eligible for funding, since we're all within the heritage area. So, and we have a lot of people who apply, but it's really nice. We're trying to get back on the map. Historically, Carroll County has not had that many applications in the past, so a lot of the funding had gone to Frederick County and Washington County. So I've been working really hard to try to get us back on the maps.
And we're gonna help you.
Absolutely, you better.
We're gonna help you.
I'm expecting help.
Andrea, as a follow-up to that, that joint municipal planning information exchange that the commission hosted, I did a follow-up note of thanks to Alex Yao. I thought it was just very, very well done.
Yes.
And very useful to learn some of the concerns and priorities that other communities in Carroll County had from a planning perspective. I mean, we don't have to reinvent the wheel oftentimes.
Absolutely.
We just need to find other people who have some experience in areas of importance to us or areas of need. But I reminded Alex that Mount Airy does have a strong interest in taking the next step. We would love to host, perhaps first a sit down with commission and your department to specifically dig into, you know, Mount Airy's goals, planning goals, and to foster a discussion that starts to move toward a regional shared planning discussion. Alex previously had made what I thought was a very insightful conversation. He said, I think we already have such a strong opportunity and relationship in Carroll County between at the county level and Mount Airy that maybe we put that in place first, build on that, then reach over and invite Frederick to also join us. When I asked him timing, he said, well, that's the $64,000 question. He says, I'm not sure when we can make, you know, the next step of this happen, but I know there continues to be interest and a desire on the county commission's part to move in that direction. So we're hoping that, you know, keep the pressure on from your side too, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Also, I just wanted to remind you, even though it's still summer, or just started yesterday, but I'd like you to start thinking about, mainly to Heather and Barney, any changes that you would like to see for the Water and Sewer Master Plan, if need be, because we are going to do a fall amendment this year. We are just, our spring amendment is going before the board for deliberation this week. So as part of the fall amendment, just to let you know if there are any properties that you have looked at your map and say, wow, these have already hooked up, let us change it, because that does affect your numbers as far as the Water and Sewer Master Plan goes, and or if there are any other properties that need to be included and things of that nature.
And we still have to balance at the
Absolutely.
end. That requirement
Has not changed.
okay, thank you.
Heather, is that something that the Water and Sewer Commission chime in on? Or is that something just the staff do?
It normally starts with Barney and I, and
It's
then,
more of a staff thing.
Okay.
yeah,
Just want to make sure.
and then Barney carries it forward to Water and Sewer if he feels necessary.
Yeah,
It's more so a planning thing
Okay.
And-
rather than a water sewer thing.
And most of the time, they're not huge changes that many of the Water and Sewer Commission might not feel is really necessary for them to comment on. I mean, they're more than welcome to, but it's still, we could always send it, when we do comments, they could be on our listserv of somebody who we ask for comments, if there's anything from Mount Airy.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you for coming.
Sure. Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, so I don't see the Frederick County Planner. Tim, are you hiding?
No, Tim is not hiding. He did reach out. He did have another commitment since we moved this meeting up 1 week. He will be here on July 27th, and he indicated that he had some information to share about the county updating perhaps their comprehensive plan and how it may affect Mount Airy.
Whoa.
So we will get additional information. I don't have any other details to share, but it'll likely, it'll sync up with the amendment of our community plan, okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we don't have any sign permits or sign presentations, or, so let's go to new business. Ordinance 2015-7.
Yes, and we had this on the May 18th agenda, but unfortunately, hey, did you want to go back and do the
Yeah,
minutes?
let's do the minutes real quick.
Before we forget?
Um,
'Cause I'll get to
Patty, we
that.
had held off voting on approving the minutes just because we didn't have a quorum.
Holy smoke, look at that.
So, any corrections to the minutes from April 27th, 2015?
I move they be accepted.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That was easy. Okay, now that that's off the list,
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay, thank you.
So ordinance 2015-7 is being put in front of the Planning Commission for review, comment, and eventually a recommendation. And generally, it's a text amendment to our industrial district zoning classification to allow veterinary clinics and animal hospitals with overnight boarding for treatment and evaluation or convalescence. And there's also for grooming, there's an amendment to allow grooming and pet daycare in the industrial district. So I don't know if you've had the opportunity between the May meeting and now to review it. What I'm interested in is initial thoughts, just that initial temperature, and just a, basic discussion. The industrial district doesn't allow anything of this nature by a use permitted by right or by way of special exception now. Over the years, we have had requests as related to animal training facilities, veterinary clinics, and now that pet daycare is the, new item. Our suggestion to consider it as part of the industrial district was to allow, consider anything that is not the indoor-outdoor runs, so you wouldn't have dogs being able to go, from the inside kennels to the outside kennels. So the only time that the dogs would be outside would be for structured playtime, so that it would limit the the noise factor. So that was in our thought, that the boarding the boarding aspects would be completely, inside unless under the supervision of a caretaker.
Have we had requests for this in the industrial space?
We have, yeah. A couple of years ago, there was a dog agility and training facility, and there was nothing in the code to allow, and it wasn't pursued. And then last year there was an inquiry as to pet care services, and that wasn't, we've said a couple times, the ordinance doesn't allow for this. So Monica, as part of, now that our master plan is finished, this is just something that we wanted to bring before the Planning Commission to determine if any part of this the Planning Commission recommends as an amendment to our text, either by a use permitted by right or a special exception. The community commercial district actually, it was surprising to learn that animal kennels are a use permitted by right in the commercial district, and that's a very broad use. by the way that it's stated. It can be used for the kenneling, breeding, or training of, any type of, I guess, domestic animal. So the fact that it was allowed in community commercial district, but not in industrial, that's what
Doesn't make
began the
sense, yeah.
conversation. So
Any-
I didn't know if you wanted to just break it down by, the veterinary, veterinary clinics and talk about that, and then, what do you say, Madam Chair?
First of all, what do you guys think? I mean, any thoughts on the matter?
But my first reaction when I looked it over was it reminded me again the breadth of potential uses, acceptable uses in industrial. It was a nice warm-up to the consideration of OPE for me. Then, second thing was, because I'm a visual person, I thought about our industrial districts, where they're located now. So I thought about Backacre Circle. I thought about Rising Ridge. I thought, okay, now what's there now? Okay, is this compatible or incompatible? And in my mind, no. It was complementary. It simply allowed a bit more flexibility, a little bit more breadth of application, in a very useful, broad category now. And if it offers some additional accommodation, that's a growing need or a growing request to our citizens and business owners, then I would say so much the better. I don't see any reason, I personally wouldn't oppose it.
Any thoughts?
I was thinking about the small piece of property that the town owns on Rising Ridge Road, and it's a relatively small piece, where they used to have the recycling center many years ago. And something like this would fit there, where nothing industrial is gonna fit on that little piece of property that I can think of, So, I don't have any problem with this at
This
all.
might even be an in-between kind of a
Yeah.
piece of property between other existing industrial locations, okay?
Yeah, as long as the hours that the animals were outside were somewhat restricted, because that backs up if, say, somebody did,
Right.
Go into that
Okay.
business, that backs up to houses.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be fair to the
True.
neighbors. So,
And-
you have to keep that.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The dissimilar land use was something that, with regard to barking.
Right.
I have 2 dogs, and if either one of them bark, it can be, piercing. So that's why we wanted to be certain that it was a very controlled. We, wrote the proposed code to ensure that it was controlled, that the dogs did not have access to any outdoor areas. And the buildings, when they come through site plan review, we would want to put a measure, in there to ensure that it's, some, yes, so,
Yeah, and safety for the person bringing their dog, the dog got loose or something like that.
right.
I don't know if while you're there, if your pets or your animals are there at night, if there's an attendant there with them, and that's always a good thing too, more
Right.
people up and out in the neighborhood, keep a watch on things.
Good point. Because if there is noise and so forth, something spooks them and they start barking, what's the response time to, call an off-site owner and, phone number or whatever and get relief? So that's a concern.
Mike, you come to the podium, please. Sorry.
So when you get population densities like we have around here in the traffic, I think allowing anything outdoors with regards to these animals is begging for a problem. I mean, anything, boarding, working them, that stuff should be inside. You got too many cars, too many neighborhoods, and dogs get loose. And you're gonna have a big problem if one of them gets hit by a car, or if a kid's chasing after it, their dog.
Good point.
And there are areas that exist in less populated areas that are surrounding Mount Airy And I don't think it's a bad thing, it's just I think you got too much population density and too much traffic, vehicular movements in this town, that if something like that's just a disaster waiting to happen. So if you're gonna do that, it should be an indoor operation totally. That would be my suggestions to you.
And not, like not
Nothing
any,
outside.
like exercised in a fenced area
If
or
they
anything.
exercise, they can go over that fence, you know, I mean,
Okay.
you're just begging for it.
Yeah, remember we had a case where the person was taking a dog to taking a dog to be groomed, the dog got loose.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that? Dog was out running, I mean, they spent thousands of dollars on tracking, finally got the dog, but it was a month. And where the dog just got out, got loose from the owner going into the pet place. So that's a good point, Mike.
And dogs are pretty sharp too. They, every opportunity, they're right there, and if you're coming in with a handful of groceries and kick the door open, boom, the dog's gone.
I have a kitten like that.
It's just you got so much population, so much traffic
Mhm.
within a small area, that it just spells disaster. You would do something like that, make sure it's all indoors.
Yeah, I like that suggestion. Heather, what do you think?
I'm here to receive comments, yes.
That, I like Mike's suggestion, I think just for safety for all beings involved. So could we do something, could we add something more like along those lines, that it be all,
For the, like, training facility?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, use
I mean, I've-
permitted by right still or special exception use? Because what we can do is, I can work with Tom, the town attorney, and add, some language, like, provided that, the buildings have sound attenuation, attendant, overnight attendant, and within fully enclosed.
yeah. I mean, they have horse arenas where they train the horses inside.
Mhm.
So
Right.
they might,
Arenas?
well,
Is that
they
what they're
have
called?
those huge, barns where they do,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they could do it
Okay.
for dogs.
Okay.
So I would say by use, not by special exception. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any thought on that one?
I agree.
Agreed.
So I guess Heather, if you could just make some more comments and run it by Tom,
Sure. Sure.
not
And-
to add to your list, but
No, not at all. So is, that the, just to clarify, I'm not
Mhm.
trying to be pushy,
Mhm.
is that the planning commission's recommendation, for this ordinance, or do you want it to come back, or what say you?
do we need to
I would
see?
think this is so simple, you wanna just move it right along.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
I
I
wouldn't
would agree. Let's not
Run
have it
with it.
sit
Okay.
any longer.
And if we need a motion made, I'll make it.
Okay.
I think she was more just kind of getting our, did you
Yeah,
want,
no,
you,
Right.
we'll need a
Yeah.
motion to recommend.
Okay, go for it.
If you guys are done with it. Yeah.
I will recommend that ordinance 205-7 be passed as written, or with, there was, item 13, I think, is what we were talking about in here. If I'm correct, item 13, and you could just strike, these uses shall be permitted as long as indoors in a single-user building, and then strike notwithstanding the foregoing, such a facility shall be permitted to have accessory uses such as fenced, supervised outdoor exercise areas and play areas, not to include individual dog runs.
Okay.
If you, so from notwithstanding, strike that, and I think you're good.
Okay.
I'll second.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Let me know when you're ready. Okay, so now the fun stuff. OPE, Office Park Employment Campus, overview and discussion of the commission comments to the June 15th, 2015 draft, next steps. This was fun reading. I don't know how in the world you wrapped your head around this one, Heather.
But the,
Well, that's probably why not many people are here tonight.
Oh, yes, I was reading it under a hairdryer, so I could not run away.
but the frame and the structure that you provided
Was
us
really.
to take a look at was really, really helpful.
Oh, yeah.
really don't.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna quiz some of the engineers in my office. Okay, so let's just go back. What really started all this was, we got the comments from IDA, and one of the ideas was and one of the broad ideas was something about manufacturing. Let me see. That's mixed use. And then that's what started this, okay, well, what is manufacturing?
And
Keep on
I
going.
attempted to find out.
Yeah. How many pages later?
And manufacturing and some of the, something that I remember having a conversation with Tony was, well, next door, they have manufacturing for superfoods.
Mhm.
And, so we were thinking everything from, manufacturing with, just black smoke coming out of, the pipes in the sky.
Mhm.
So what
To
we
putting together,
learned-
to putting together their what vitamins or whatever they do over there
Right,
next door.
or
They do
like
something that,
sprouting their seeds, or
Mhm.
So going through this journey, we definitely realized that manufacturing is like fairy dust to fire-breathing dragons. So we need to really have a discussion as to the uses and the impacts that we don't want, to get to language that will allow some type of manufacturing, because my fear is if we say no manufacturing, that's pretty strong.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm concerned about that impact of not allowing anything.
Mhm.
So anything that could be considered manufacturing, even if it's so negligible.
yeah, like next door. If next door
Right.
came and applied,
Right.
and what do they do that's manufacturing? They put together something?
It's packaging. I think that there might be some processing, but that's the other thing. And I actually reached out to Frank Dirtsball and Barney and Bob. They're like fabrication, processing, production, well, assembly, I understand, but they are all used to define one another. So when you say, well, what is manufacturing? Well, it's the production of, this and fabrication of that. I'm like, okay, well, what's fabrication? What's the manufacturing of something? So, Frank, Bob,
Come on.
and Barney.
She's doing a two-step up here. Your turn.
What's really funny is I do business with a sheet metal manufacturer that is right across the street from Tony Folletta's townhouse.
Okay,
Phase Incorporated.
yes.
And they were down in Rockville with me for years and years, and they moved up here about 10 years ago. Manufacturing is where I spent the last 27 years of my life, in a precision machine shop. We were the last building in Rockville, right by the metro station. We were the last building to go in to the neighborhood. Next door was a house. And I think there's about a 25-foot grass strip out there that separates us. And we were the neighbor that these people knew. When they went on vacation in the summertime, we watched their fish in the fish pond for them, so that they knew we would do it.
Right.
Our yard always looked much better than theirs did, Bill, you've been there, you've seen it.
Yeah.
And it was just, these were our neighbors. 1967, my dad built that building, and they were our neighbors since then. And they're very unhappy to see us leave.
I'm sure.
So, manufacturing is not, big black chimneys billowing smoke
It
and all
could
that
be,
kind of
though.
stuff.
There are processes.
Oh, yeah, there
involved in
are
that.
things that Faye's had a very, very bad fire over there,
Right, right.
which happens, if you're, it has something to do with, they have time savers that grind, or not really grind, but sand the top of, and it puts aluminum dust in the air. Well, that's aluminum oxide, and it will burn,
Oh,
and it will
wow.
explode. And it did.
It did.
It did.
It did.
So,
So I don't know, Lindy, I don't know how you want to go through this, but, I've compiled some examples of manufacturing and descriptions, with the hope of maybe just highlighting words that are okay for the planning commission, just something to give us like a foundation for language, how to frame our manufacturing, or
Yeah, and
do
it
we
w-
use the word manufacturing?
And it was so funny, because when I was reading, I was like, oh, I just assumed, oh, that would be fine, because that's, and to find out, oh, that's not example, the Taylor stuff was like, oh, I was like, wait a minute, that should be, so, and it was like, no, it's not that. Like, whoa, that was an
Yeah.
eye-opener.
Well, and
Really
that's
was.
where the, legalities come in. If we put a word and we mean something, but, legally, and, if the standard industrial classification means something else. So we need to be well-versed in this. But then,
Heather, a lot of the items on this list would require a footprint that is so huge, that they really wouldn't be, I don't even know if they'd fit down in, what are we talking about, 150
About
acres?
150, yeah.
128,
Okay,
basically.
yeah, 100, okay.
Well, see,
Like
that's,
so you're talking a concrete and gypsum plant.
well, that's not allowed in our
Right,
code, just for the
okay,
record.
garbage transfer station is the same thing.
Right,
a
well, and
lot
some
of
of them were
these
no-brainers.
Paving and roofing materials, petroleum refining, a lot of these are, yes, they are manufacturing facilities according to the definition, but they really aren't. They wouldn't even be appropriate down there just simply because of their size.
Right. Well, what I do want to focus on is the use, because we want to be able to go back to
Right.
this and say, this was, we discussed this, and it was intended that these type of manufacturing uses by the planning commission
Right.
are absolutely not what was intended.
Right.
So, everything on that first page,
Well, your first one, chemical manufacturing, that can be pharmaceuticals. So a lot of it depends on what you're talking
Okay.
there. Yeah, it says fifth or
Yes,
sixth line,
okay.
including drugs, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and soaps.
okay.
Um,
Good. So, are drugs and pharmaceuticals something, how does the planning commission feel about that component? Is that like a biomedical? Frank, don't go too far. Frank?
Wait, Mike has his hand up.
So when you're talking about available footprint, you're talking about what, 25, 30 acres max? So when you're framing your thoughts on this in conjunction with uses and non-uses that you don't want, think of it in the actual amount of land that's there.
No.
And it's probably gonna be split up amongst.
And
the-
I respect that. I respect that point of view, but we need to focus on the uses, not whether it could be or would be. We need to have
But I mean, there's some of them you can knock off right away with 25 acres.
but
But you were saying, Heather, we still want to have,
we want to focus on the uses,
Mhm.
because this is, a lot of these are no-brainers, but
but what if you get the guy who says, hey, I can make it work in this tiny little space, and I'm gonna bring in my concrete plant, and I don't care that it's only.
concrete we have covered.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring in my chemical manufacturing plant, and, because it's only me and my kids and my,
Right.
one
I
employee.
don't want us to say it's never gonna happen.
Okay, so if we leave in chemical product manufacturing, can we go back and say, okay, now we're leaving this in here, but for these specifics only, or this size only, can we
This is where.
go back and redefine that?
This is exactly what I need you guys to do.
Because some of your chemical product manufacturing would be okay.
Okay.
And on the other side of town, we have the fertilizer plant.
Fertilizer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and
Now,
I mean,
that is prohibited in the town code now.
they do
they're
a great, they do a
grandfathered.
great job there,
They
and
do a
they're
perfect
they're
job.
way ahead of their industry in
Absolutely.
safety.
But they are
Um,
prohibited by town code.
Right. So,
What part of the code are specifically fertilizer plants or
Mhm.
chemical manufacturing?
Fertilizer, very
So chemical
specific.
manufacturing, you could have a paint product, a Duron formulation center in a
Right.
chemical.
Right, okay,
That's
so
pretty broad.
let's,
Right.
chemical product manufacturing.
I would leave that one in.
leave that title
As
in.
long as we're allowed to go back and
But no, we're doing that
redefine.
now. We're redefining now.
Well, but maybe you start with a broader parking lot grouping and then you keep refining it. I mean, I think it's just getting our head around what each of these
Well, the-
manufacturing
The broader
categories.
term was manufacturing, and we're trying to narrow that down.
Well, why, I mean,
Well, we
so
just-
I would say no, I'd say no to
Well,
chemical
under
products.
those,
Yeah,
if
why
we
would
can't
you
go
say
back and
Yeah.
redefine this, then no.
Well, no, we're, but why, we know drugs, drugs,
Pharmaceuticals,
Mhm.
something, soap. Some of these are not, the footprint is not so large on those. Or if you get into paint manufacturing or anything like that, yeah, that's a relatively large scale manufacturing. And you've got, McCormick has out on Route 85, on the other side of Frederick. McCormick's got a huge facility out there.
Distribution center.
Um,
You could have an oil refinery.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, under.
a garbage transfer
I
station.
mean,
all right, so chemical product manufacturing, there are instances that,
Some yes, some no.
okay.
Well, should we be saying what chemical product manufacturing we do want then?
I believe that we need to.
Okay.
so if we're concerned about the content of some of that manufacturing and its potential impact on the environment or the risk of rupture or whatever, we should say, wait a minute, I have some concerns about that form of this type of manufacture. Is that what we're saying?
If you were going, what I would do, chemical products manufacturing, I'd go down to where on the left-hand side you see dry colors.
Yeah,
1, 2, 5
Yeah,
lines
uh-huh.
down,
tricolors and pigments.
okay? And after the word "and," you have finished chemical products for the ultimate consumption, including drugs, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, soaps, or to be used as materials or supplies in other industries, including paint, fertilizers, and explosives.
No,
How about
not
we
that last
stop
part.
a little bit before that?
Stop at soap.
To be used as materials or supplies in other industries.
Let's just make makeup.
And aren't we in a recharge area for a big well down there too?
We
I
will
thought
be,
so.
yeah.
So if they have.
I believe, Barney, that will,
Right.
That's a good point.
yeah.
Drugs into the water supply.
Right.
How much of the OPE designated projected area is recharge?
Well, that whole Harrison Ligier property.
The whole
is
thing's
part of that
recharge.
Recharge.
Most of the towns in a recharge area.
For production wells.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
a good point.
Even drugs. That's one of the big things now with drugs, they lose the water supply.
Well, yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
why they've got us
Talk to West
returning
Virginia.
them instead of flushing them down to John.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Whoa.
let's remain focused on the
Okay,
uses
so-
and then the other impacts.
Okay, so I liked Bob's suggestion, but I would, Bob, could we just cut it off
After
at,
other industries, finished chemical products to be used for ultimate consumption, including drugs, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and soaps, or to be used as materials or supplies in other industries.
okay.
Like vague, other industries.
Does that,
You
So
sort of
it's-
have to define what other industries you're talking
Yeah, well, this is not the end of the road.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
This is the beginning.
The beginning of the beginning.
But no, but this will allow us to,
Okay, so
narrow it down.
Yeah,
chemical
if it-
product manufacturing, finished, so then finished chemical products to be used for let me see, no. Yeah, is that it? After pigments?
right?
Okay.
Finished chemical products to be used for ultimate consumption,
Mhm.
including drugs, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and soaps, or to be used as materials or supplies in other industries.
Okay. Works for me.
Finished meaning it's already, it's coming to that site as a finished product and basically being distributed.
Right. And it's, I think what that does is you're more assembly than you are manufacturing.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point.
Okay?
Yeah.
And assembly actually is part of manufacturing.
Oh, wow.
We saw you coming, we threw them all away.
That is not true, Frank.
I have an extra copy.
Now, examples,
Could you bring one for me too?
Oh,
oh, is it not in your packet, Patty?
Did you get anything in your packet? You should have gotten
Well, no, I did. It's a long story.
You know
It's
what,
just
we
not
love
here.
long
one of those
stories.
days.
Yeah, separate
It's just
from
one of
the
those
package.
days.
The dog,
Thank
the
you
dog
very
ate her homework. Now, come on.
Yeah.
My kitten ate mine.
It's been quite a couple weeks.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Okay, so what we were looking at was talking about examples of, yeah, second page, when she's
So
talking,
we're,
yeah, examples. Yeah.
Does that narrow it down enough for you, Kevin?
so basic chemicals, acids, alkalis, salts, and organic chemicals are not included?
That's
No.
correct.
Okay.
He just start, where he started,
What's a
Fa-
dry color?
Huh?
not a
So
wet
yeah.
one?
Almost
What's a
like
dry
powder.
color? Powder?
Powder.
Powder, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're just gonna start with that finished chemical products be used for ultimate so,
Well, it doesn't take all of the chemical manufacturing out of
No,
it, but
it
it
limits
pares
it.
it down to a reasonable.
Okay.
okay, does that work?
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
does.
eliminate the category.
No, so,
it
right,
doesn't
but we
eliminate it,
define,
But it doesn't allow you to have big vats of chemicals
Right.
out there with witches on
Okay,
brooms.
so
because
this-
that's what you're looking for, Heather.
So
We're
that's
looking for to
probably-
define what it can
Right.
be, you know.
What is acceptable, and then we can turn it into language.
Right.
Okay,
Of how to cover everything that's acceptable, but not allow
okay.
explosives.
So we all agree, the concrete, that one's out.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
concrete, gypsum,
Yeah.
plaster's
That's out
out.
Okay.
just by nature of.
Garbage transfer station, I'd say that would be out.
That's out.
I had to put some easy ones in there.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Glass,
Now, this one was a little hard for me.
Yeah, that's a tough one because, a lot of this type of stuff is done in artwork and,
studios.
you know, that kind of stuff.
It's an artisan activity.
Yeah, it is. Actually, blowing glass is a art form that's going away.
We might be bringing it back, I don't know.
Let's bring Corning.
Yeah,
Okay,
too many
so-
people have been sucking in instead of blowing out.
So, the,
So we're prohibiting,
are we
Okay.
moving on?
no, go
Oh,
ahead,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
No,
No, I
we're
just
still-
like Mike's idea about the leaded glass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the manufacturing of glass, I know, you know, the hand blowing of it or whatever, that's an artisan activity, but then, like,
We're also talking sliding doors and plate glass windows and,
so it's not taking glass in its finished form and
No.
utilizing it,
It's making the glass. Yeah.
So this is the discussion.
what's the source of energy for?
heat.
Yeah.
Heat.
A
Heat.
lot.
Is it
They have
Electricity?
ovens.
Yeah.
Okay, are we talking about parcels large enough to?
Well,
Bill,
No, because we have to, we want to spell it out exactly what's not allowed.
we have to talk through this. It doesn't matter whether it's even possible or not.
What about ancillary things like Anderson windows or power?
Let's see, that's what I was thinking too, because that's,
Do
you
they
know,
make their glass
that's
though?
right in there.
Well, I
See,
just go to the
if-
store and buy it.
Right, like.
The Marvin store, I went down there.
Everything all done and assembled.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Anderson or Pella or anyone making their own glass,
It's
as
not.
long as they don't have lead?
I'm just asking,
Well-
are we comfortable with that process?
I'm not. I like the idea of the artists, that one sounds fine, that sounds great,
Like
but,
taking- yeah.
but
Frank,
to
can
me,
you add anything as to that?
Not yet.
Proce-
I'm all right with it.
Well, no, I mean, add anything as to
Have you
the,
ever seen a
the
facility that
process.
makes plate glass windows?
Actually, no, I haven't, honestly. I mean.
You're supposed to say yes. Because I don't know, I've never seen anything like that, and I don't know what's involved. Once again, I don't know if this is a big, huge process, you know, with these forms that they make this glass. I don't even know how they make glass.
So the.
Can I
know that,
interject a
like,
thought?
under artisan activities,
yeah, Patty, go for it.
or like light, small scale manufacturing, hang on a sec. Yeah, okay. Small scale manufacturing. And this doesn't have page numbers on it, my apologies. Like handcraft industries and small scale manufacturing is actually taking like the glass and turning it into products. The glass product manufacturing appears to be
Making the glass
Making
itself
glass.
from silica and whatever else they say here.
and silica is actually not toxic, is
No, I
that
don't
correct?
think it is, no. It's sand.
It's just sand.
I-
Basically a
yeah.
clean
I had
sand.
to research that because my dog ate a packet of that. It is not. In large quantities, I'm not sure. So,
I think inhalation is dangerous, so.
like
Yeah.
the,
The-
yeah.
And Patty, do you want to add something?
Well, I was just going to say, at Deep Creek Lake, they actually have a Simon Pierce manufacturing plant where they make glass. They
Field
make,
trip, okay.
what's that?
A field trip.
Yeah, look, field trip. It's really fascinating. If anybody gets a chance, if you're up at Deep Creek, it's really a really great store.
I mean, do they make large panes of glass or is it glass artwork?
No, they make artwork.
Okay.
You know, they make bowls, they
Right.
make Christmas trees
Mhm.
and
Oh, yeah,
crystal and everything. So
we-
it's really fascinating to watch, but it's a very high temperature,
Right.
you know, in order to be able to do
Yeah,
this.
it's
So, yeah, I mean, that's something to consider if you want really something that has that much heat.
Pretty large energy consumer and
Mhm.
Yeah.
we're kind of
Well, that's
trying
why
to
we're-
think,
we're
we're
talking
trying to
about
think green
renewable
here.
energy,
That's-
too.
And that's
Mhm.
why
Part
it's
of
in the
what I was
middle of
wondering.
Right.
basically nowhere. I mean, it's on a big piece of land and it's far back and,
Right.
It would take
So-
scale for it to be practical.
yeah. So I don't think that's something we need to do.
So
So-
do we want to take glass manufacturing completely out, or do you want to leave the artisan part
Well,
in?
I think as long as it's just like an artisan,
Mhm.
you know, like, cause it would be on a
Like, so
smaller
you had,
scale.
like I had my storefront and my studios in back.
Right. Say if you're just making one or two pieces.
So
I-
like
I don't think-
handcraft industries?
Handcraft
Mhm.
Okay.
industries, I think would be
Okay,
more appropriate.
so large,
So window manufacturers like Anderson or Pella wouldn't go in there.
I believe that's what.
That's correct. They
Patty-
would not.
Well, I'm
I
not
would
sure
be
about
willing-
that,
I would be
'cause-
willing to bet that we're gonna run across something else in here that will have to do with assembly of glass or assembly of some things.
Assembling the windows.
Yeah, if they're just assembling.
Yeah,
the
assembly,
windows.
assembly is
See where I'm
part of
getting circular
manufacturing.
manufacturing, fabrication and
Yeah.
assembly.
But if they're making the window,
If
Yeah.
they're making the pane, like the glass itself, not pane, the glass, it doesn't.
Roxanne, what do you have to add?
Well, you were talking like if they make it and they sell it in their storefront, that's more of a mixed use type of thing. You don't wanna get into storefronts as far as, you know, having something, this is just plain the
Right, this is
manufacturer, the
manufacturing.
doing of it.
Mhm.
Nobody's coming in to buy or sell.
Put 600 in a box and ship them
Exactly.
out to someplace,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay. I think that shuts that door.
So do you wanna take it pressed, blown, or shaped from glass produced in the same, say, glass products that are pressed, blown, shaped from glass produced in the same establishment. Artisan and craftsman type operations of larger scale than house occupations are instead included under manufacturing light.
Yeah,
And that's back,
Okay,
Mhm.
that's,
so,
we're
so,
gonna talk about that later.
okay, so we don't even need this if we're gonna do artisan and stuff that already appears in manufacturing light. Right, is that correct?
except lead,
Huh?
lead,
And.
Well,
and
we're saying
we'll-
taking it out. I think, Bob, you're saying
Yeah,
taking it
take
out,
it out.
right?
taking lead out.
Taking the whole glass thing
Taking the
out.
whole glass,
Yeah, we're taking the whole thing out and this appears under the category of manufacturing light.
Yep.
Handcrafted industries.
And Dr. O'Brien, I'm putting a note up here like no lead based, yeah.
you can't do stainless windows.
Actually, they don't, I know somebody who does that. They don't use the lead anymore. Yeah,
No.
My mother-in-law did, but they don't use it anymore.
Yeah, I have a secretary that does stained glass windows on the side,
Mhm.
and she does not use lead anymore
Yeah.
because it's expensive.
Yeah,
My
I forget.
husband does them, I have no idea what he does. I don't go in that room.
Okay, so that one's out.
You're just making sure the life insurance is
Yeah,
paid.
that's right. Paving and roofing materials manufacturing,
Negatory.
everyone agree?
So no asphalt.
Nope.
like
Yeah.
No
Camco
asphalt.
and Frederick, nope.
Petroleum, refining, and related industries, I say that's a no-brainer, out.
Nope.
Plastics, other synthetics, and rubber product manufacturing. I'd say,
I would say
No.
that's a nasty process,
Okay, nope,
manufacturing
okay.
rubber and some of the plastics.
on to page 2, yippee. Primary metal industries, nope.
No.
Pulp and pulp product manufacturing, nope.
The aroma is
Did you ever
atrocious.
see pig in the metal industries?
What?
Like,
Pig iron,
Yeah, pig is what you call the,
Yeah.
okay.
that's,
pig iron.
It's actually
Gotta
the
tell
metal.
you, I'm really sorry, I was like,
it's in its very rawest form.
Yep.
okay. I thought we were like, well, that's what I was like, really?
Yeah.
See, I'm getting an education. I was like, wow, I really don't understand.
Watch the
Okay,
History
I'm sorry.
Channel in Pittsburgh. Okay, so now textile and leather manufacturing. This one was what surprised me.
Yeah.
Dressed in dried furs.
And
Yeah.
that paper, I'm going back up to paper, but that paper mill up in Pennsylvania, you can smell it
Oh,
down
God, yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Houston and Pasadena has
Oh.
had paper mills for years and years and years, and they call
You
it
would not
stinkadina.
think that would stink.
Oh gosh, yeah, I have a little kid in
horrendous.
North Carolina,
You could get
paper
back
Oh,
mill.
yeah, I was gonna say, North Carolina,
Carolina.
you can drive down the highway
And
and
you
you can
hit-
see that plant
Yep.
way out in the distance and that little waft of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And about makes you sick in the car
Oh, yeah.
for about
Right.
10 or 15 minutes.
I remember as a little kid.
I don't know how the residents around there, I'm sorry. Okay, textile and, yeah.
Okay.
This was,
Yeah.
now I know in, Hagerstown, there is a tannery,
It's a tannery.
but I don't,
Doesn't this have an aroma issue too?
I think anytime you're tanning, there is the chemicals that you use on that are
So,
pretty nasty.
do you want to just go?
End product or actual fabrication of?
This to me looks like it's fabrication or finishing.
So then you've got your plastics industry.
Yeah, coating, waterproofing, or otherwise
Yeah.
treating fabric, dyed furs, dyeing and finishing fabric, leather tanned, curried, and finished.
I'd say no then. What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
that's
Well,
the
are there
nastiest.
any of these fibers in any of these forms that we might find acceptable?
Natural.
Manufacture of felt, lace.
Natural.
I mean,
I-
I was talking to a lady who has sheep and she was looking for a spinner. I'm like, okay, didn't know. I mean, that would be natural, but
Natural, yeah.
Well, yeah.
okay.
If someone wants to open a clothes shop.
But this is just gonna be
This is-
manufactured.
Yeah, this, we're not talking retail though.
Yeah, it's not retail.
Manufacturing.
well, you know, you've got
But if
making
there was like a
quilts, right?
manufacturer of, or like of yarn, I mean, I don't,
Yeah, well, that was one, yeah.
Well, yeah, you mean like the alpaca fur, you know, those places that are
Yeah,
around on
they
town.
spin it
Yeah.
first and, you know.
Then they
and
weave it.
Then they color
was
it,
the
or
one
maybe they
that I-
color it and spin it, I don't remember now.
That's more of an artisan thing anymore.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna be doing
Yeah.
that where they can also sell it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to take it out then? Or what part do you want to keep in? Let's
Can
put
we
it that way.
could we just put a check mark and come back to it?
Or a question mark or something.
No, we can't. Let's either saw our look. We
Okay.
have to handle it.
we can.
No, we can't, because we'll never get past this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these things, yarn and thread mills, there should be.
Yeah, some of it doesn't look too bad, but there's other parts of it, tanning leather and that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, let's strike out what we don't like.
There we
How's
go.
that?
Go down to, for the like little bullet list.
Okay, so let's take out the coating, waterproofing, or otherwise treating fabric.
Right.
That sounds nasty.
Dressed in dyed furs.
Kill that one.
I would say too.
No.
Okay, then the dyeing and finishing, what about dyeing and finishing fiber, yarn, fabric, and knit apparel.
I think you can leave that one in
I think
there.
that
Okay, okay, we'll take out the leather tanned, cured, and finished.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay, now, manufacture of knit apparel and other finished products from yarn.
I think
that
that would be
seems
fine.
okay.
Okay, because it could be a weaver or something like that. Manufacture of felt goods, lace goods, non-woven fabrics, and miscellaneous textiles.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. Manufacturing of woven fabric, carpets, and rugs from yarn.
probably okay.
That one's probably okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now, preparation of the fiber and subsequent manufacturing of yarn, threads, braids, twine, cordage.
I would
Okay.
I
say
think
yes.
that's,
Okay.
yeah, you're just making yarn for
Yeah.
somebody else to knit.
But what is scouring and combing plants?
I have no idea.
I have no idea what that is either.
You wash them, you comb their hair, and send them on. I
Oh,
Comb cotton,
oh,
comb
okay.
cotton, okay.
Of the pig fur.
Oh. Okay, so what, when we say no to that one then?
Yeah, because we don't really know.
Know what it is, so how about upholstery manufacturing?
I'm not sure about that. Not sure about upholstery.
But wouldn't that be the same as, it's
Yeah.
just a heavy fabric?
Right, if, I would think upholstery is just clothes that your chair wears.
Right, so,
Yeah, but they're talking about,
Yeah, all the batting and all that stuff that goes in it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But now, is that the assembly, though, of furniture? So is the upholstery manufacturing just the manufacturing of the clothes itself?
Correct, yes.
And then the assembly would be the batting, you know,
mhm,
Right,
stuffing it.
or the fabrication?
yeah, I mean, that's where you cut it and you
Mhm.
sew it and,
Well,
I
I
would
think
think.
that separation we could accept.
right,
Beyond that, I think it's.
manufacture the product and
Stepping
it
over.
goes
Well, I know, like, I
somewhere
just
else.
got an ad for some local furniture company where they talked about they do their upholstery in their shop and they
Right.
have, they show the people and that was, so maybe we'll keep it then? Guys?
Now, all of
Yeah.
these, and with whatever I had, there's other language that even the uses you pick have to be certified that they're not gonna create noise, dust,
Right.
odor,
Okay.
vibration at the lot, you know,
Okay.
beyond the lot line.
Okay,
So,
okay, so wanna go ahead and keep that in there?
Yeah, I
So
would-
you're
And then
saying
we're
we
saying-
have a myriad of regulations to keep you from screwing this up anyways, huh?
Hopefully, hopefully. And then yarn and thread mills, that sounds good to
we're
me.
gonna do our best.
yeah,
Okay.
Yarn and thread mills, okay?
Yep,
yeah.
okay. Clothing and product clothing and fabric product manufacturing. It's also manufacturing heavy.
Yeah, and see, this does not include custom tailors, dressmakers.
Yeah, and that's what I thought, was like, wow.
Yeah, and to me, it looks like they're just talking the clothing and the,
This seems okay.
yeah, that's, I don't see anything wrong with that.
So they would take like the dressed and dyed furs and turn them into products.
Right.
Coats, yeah.
Okay, if you guys are fine with it, I'm okay.
They've already been tanned and treated and so forth.
Yeah, so just coming now to be,
Rubberized fabric.
Now,
oh, that's
this
right,
is-
yeah, right on Center Street, yeah.
This one, the electronics equipment and appliance
Ooh,
manufacturing,
I like
Whoa.
this one.
this was actually one of the ones that I thought we
I like this.
would most benefit from, because
Mhm.
it's sort of like I'm not saying all of them, but
Yeah.
it's like instruments and technology, so.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so let's just go down the list like we've been doing. Okay, appliances including stoves, ovens, refrigerators, freezers, blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay. Aviation instruments?
yes,
why not?
Okay, computers, computer components, peripherals,
yes,
Yes,
electrical transmission and distribution equipment.
yes.
Okay. Maybe just tell me, guys, which one you don't like.
Well, I would prefer if we check.
Oh, okay, okay. Electronic components and accessories.
yes,
Okay,
Yes.
electrical welding apparatus.
Okay,
Lighting and wiring equipment.
yes,
I think so.
Industrial controls.
Yes,
yes.
Instruments for measuring, testing, blah, blah, blah.
Analysis, yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Miscellaneous electrical machinery, such as batteries, x-ray, asparagus, and tools. That one,
Okay, let's think about this.
yeah, let's
Talk
think about that one.
Yeah.
Batteries, ooh.
They're not making batteries, they're assembling batteries.
The
This
manufacturers,
is manufacturers,
equipment, asparagus, and apparatus and
Are
supplies
we
for the.
sure?
It
that
manufactures
I would,
equipment,
I
apparatus,
would go with
supplies.
that one. I mean, I wouldn't eliminate that.
Mm-hmm,
because there are so many federal regulations on stuff and
Oh.
how you handle batteries and that kind of stuff now, that anybody's going to have to comply with the law. And there's serious law on some of this stuff. We had materials down there that, years ago, magnesium was used a lot. Magnesium gets hot, and it's one of those hot fires that you can't put out.
Is that why I'm always hot?
Yeah,
Because I take
because it's the
magnesium?
magnesium. So we had to, when we machined magnesium, there were regulations, okay? And if OSHA came in there and saw magnesium and you not doing exactly what you were supposed to be doing, they'd shut you down in a heartbeat. They could shut you down faster than the tax man could. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they're new compared to OSHA and, yeah.
It's just the layering.
Yes.
Okay,
And then you have Barney over here, because it's a wellhead protection area, so he's,
That's right.
okay.
that's right.
Okay, I'm good with it. How about motors and generators?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
I believe that.
Optical instruments and lenses?
Yes,
Yes.
that's mostly grinding.
Absolutely.
Okay. Photographic equipment and supplies?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, radio and television receiving
Yes.
equipment?
yeah,
Okay, surgical, medical, and dental instruments, equipment, and supplies?
Yes.
How about this one, storage media? Blank and pre-recorded, including optical device
I would
products,
think
blah, blah,
okay.
blah.
yeah, I think you're
Okay.
okay on that.
Surveying and drafting,
Yes,
Okay.
telephone and telegraph.
yes.
How
Okay.
old is this?
I know.
Else in there?
How old is this?
And then phonograph records.
Yeah.
Communication apparatus?
Sounds a little bit, telegraph.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds a little
instead
better.
of telegraph.
That sounds a little bit better.
Let's make it more current and a little broader,
I got
okay?
this from the 1930 version.
Yeah, I think so.
In the Morse code book.
But did you see the phonograph records?
We have some.
Yeah, I would love for that to come back. That's
We were just going through the attic and found all the old albums.
Oh, wow.
There's
And so
nothing
we
like
got,
an album.
we actually pulled the stereo out, and we're gonna hook her up this weekend and fire up the neighborhood and see what happens.
That sounds fun. Let us know. We'll be over there. Okay, transformers, switchgear, and switchboards?
Yes.
I think so.
Watches and,
Oh, well, they don't use PCBs anymore in them. And, for example, you don't have transformers in your lights anymore. The LEDs and the, yeah, they're gone. And that's probably the biggest user of transformers in the entire world is for fluorescent lighting.
Poles out here full.
All right,
Well, that's true.
so we're taking out
Those
transformers?
big gray boxes, yeah.
so yes, we're taking out
We're,
transformers?
we're leaving switchgear and switchboards?
Do they make?
Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay.
transformers gone,
Okay, watches and clocks.
yes.
Okay, that was easy. Next victim, food and beverage product manufacturing. Let's go down the list, okay? Examples, bottling plants?
Bottling, once again, the footprint on a bottling plant is huge, but I guess it's not too bad.
Micro
Yeah.
bottling plants?
Oh,
Flying-
you're talking micro,
Microbrewery?
I'm
Yeah.
talking anything could happen at any time. So we cannot sit here and say it'll never come to Mount
Yeah.
Airy.
Little
Look at it for the
hospitality bottles.
use and the.
The hospitality bottles.
micro, the only thing is I'm questioning the location in industrial for microbrewing, and that's something you would prefer to, say, have down at the bank building here, so that you have a retail side and a
Right.
fabrication
Yeah.
side?
Right.
Like the flying dog in
Just-
Frederick.
Just,
Okay, well,
just
we're
throwing
not-
it out there.
We're talking about bottling.
Bread
plants.
factories, candy, sugar, confectionery.
What if
Wait,
Coca-Cola?
let's back up. We're still talking about
That's
bottling
all
plants.
the same, but it's all the same thing, where you would, all of the items in here, you would want retail in the front while you're making it in the back.
No, Flying Dog has a separate, separate.
Oh, do they?
facility.
Yeah. They have so
You might
much,
wanna
dis-
showcase it at the bank
they have so much
building.
distribution. They have a sampling facility,
Okay.
but
I stand corrected.
Okay, so
It
what's,
won't be the first time.
so what's the verdict on bottling plants?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, bread factories.
yes,
oh, yes.
Okay, candy, sugar, and confectionery products manufacturing?
yes.
Okay, catering services, separate from
very
stores.
Oh, I'm
No.
loving this.
Okay, don't get hungry.
No,
Okay, next page.
catering services was a yes?
Yes.
Yep,
What about restaurants?
That's,
No.
no, it says separate from stores or
They were
restaurants.
under manufacturing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're under manufacturing.
That's a big catering service.
Yeah.
There are catering.
Restaurant equipment type stuff, is that what you're saying?
No, there are.
No, they're actually,
catering
yeah.
Andrew's got a hand.
They
Yeah.
have a kitchen and everything, and they cook,
They
they do
prep-
cook
yeah.
in there, but it's just for catering.
Well, it's like, what's his name down
Yeah.
here?
They go
And-
off-site.
yeah,
He has,
Or restaurants?
Separate.
separate from the restaurants. And Andrea, you wanted to say something?
Just going back for 1 second, I had my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But no, for the bread factories, just a reminder, my understanding is a lot of water. So just as you're talking about your town
Oh.
and the use it and how much water, I don't know if they do industrially,
Mhm.
at this scale, but they typically do.
I'm sure they do, but there was a Wonder Bread plant down in Rockville. And I don't know if you guys know where it was, but it's in the same industrial area that my machine shop is in.
The town's water perspective.
Right.
Okay.
That's just something to think about. I'm sure it could go very well in whatever this area is, but it's just an idea for your, it's
Okay.
something that you want to be such a huge water user.
Thomas's English muffins.
Yeah, Frederick.
Frank Dirksball and I will work.
That's an AFPO question.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Coffee
If they don't,
roasting.
if we don't have
Yeah,
water.
true, APFO would catch that.
right.
That was a consideration.
Okay, so we're on to the next page,
Yeah.
which is coffee roasting.
Yes.
Okay, you
Yes.
can tell the coffee drinkers here. Dairy products manufacturing.
Yes,
So that could be a farm.
No.
no.
No cows allowed.
It
Fats-
must be extracted from the cow before we get it.
Okay, no cows allowed. Fats and oil product manufacturing.
Yes,
Fruit and vegetable canning, preserving, related processing.
yes,
Grain mill products and byproducts.
yes.
Okay.
Okay,
That's like cream of wheat and, oatmeal and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, the
Cereal.
byproduct scared me.
Cereal.
The
well, yeah, because you're taking the whole
When
oat
they
and you're
start
shooting,
talking
yeah.
about petroleum byproducts, that's
Yeah.
when you get scared.
Okay, meat, poultry, and seafood canning, curing, byproduct processing.
Yes,
So is that excluding abattoirs or the killers?
Like,
Say it again?
Like,
Yes.
Like, when you talk about processing, a slaughterhouse, that's what.
yeah.
Is that excluding slaughterhouses?
Well, a slaughterhouse is not an aspect of product manufacture, is it?
and we got
So
the Wagners to take care of that for us up the
Someone
street.
could argue that.
yeah.
Maybe.
That's the first step.
So,
Other than abattoirs.
that's the first step. So the meat, poultry, and you say that it, like a poultry, you say these things won't come to town, but we've actually had an inquiry
But
about somebody.
you're looking at me and you're saying, you say that poultry won't come to town? I'm the one that damn near ran over a cow on Prospect Road the other night.
There are,
Neil's Farm breakout.
I would say yes to that other than
Really?
slaughterhouses.
No, and what, Roxanne, what'd you say?
If you want it.
Say poultry, hey, listen, I had a restaurant in Salisbury, next to produce processing plant.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how about we just say no to that one? Any thoughts on that?
Sounds good to me.
Very good.
Okay.
And I bet there's gonna be water APFO issues with some of these.
Yes,
Okay, Patty and I are saying no. What are you two guys saying?
meat and poultry we're saying no to, right?
Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
works. Okay. Soft drink production.
Yeah.
as long as it's Coca-Cola.
Yes,
No, I'm
please.
joking.
Caffeine. Diet Coke. Okay.
Don't they use a lot of water?
No Pepsi.
No
So-
Pepsi, I'm sorry.
Flies in
Yes.
the- Flies in the face of sustainability, it really does.
Okay, so we're keeping soft drink. How about miscellaneous food item preparation from raw products?
That's a little too vague. We may as well keep the word manufacturer.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. but-
Yeah,
So take it out?
that's sort of like
Yeah.
Okay.
anything else we can
Okay.
get rid of.
Okay.
If somebody
Okay, I
has
got one more item to add in there, and it's a biggie now, is tea manufacturing.
Ah,
Oh, I love my iced tea.
coffee.
Coffee and tea, I mean,
Yeah.
you could put it up there with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
coffee and tea.
That's a
coffee
good-
roasting
These,
and
you know,
yeah,
these-
that's a good point. I like the specialty teas.
Yeah, that's a big item now.
Mhm. Okay, so now we get to the handcraft industries and small scale manufacturing. Which I don't have a problem with. What do you guys think? I just don't wanna see the stuffed deer.
Taxidermy,
Yeah.
well, only because
No.
that's allowed in the downtown zone, I believe, or not. Hold on, downtown zone, why, I think there's, or the flex, no, I'm thinking flex space of the industrial zone.
Probably.
Yeah, downtown zone, my goodness, what am I doing? Where am I?
Yeah, you gotta
Okay.
freak out little kids to come dragging Bambi down into the cellar.
Hanging from the trees.
Industrial zone, I looked at a lot of zones
Yours are
today.
hanging.
Yeah, it's a, use enumerated in the
See that, all you
industrial.
guys that didn't show up tonight, you would enjoyed this meeting.
It's
Yeah,
right.
That's, I don't think taxidermy,
I would take it out.
Take taxidermy out?
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
I mean, it's a scale thing too.
now,
Yeah, I'm not bringing my buffalo down.
how
No.
does this relate or impact the downtown zone?
Yeah, but they're actually manufacturing a downtown zone. There's no place to manufacture. There's more,
retail.
there's the retail space, yeah.
Okay, but what if there's a, like a glass blowing, artisan that wants to come into the downtown?
It'll be a s-
And I'm not trying to, dissuade, I'm just asking the question.
I think it'd
What
be,
these are is people that do it, you have a production line set up and you're making glass items, glass earrings that are going down to Ocean City
it's
and,
very efficient.
they're, and, it's
A lot of
that
production.
kind of production as opposed to,
Yep,
an artisan painting
yep.
or an
Okay.
artisan.
It's a whole different scale,
Right, it really is.
different style more than likely.
So I think you're okay with this.
I do too.
Okay, we just took out the Bambi. Okay,
Because there's no storefronts gonna be out there either. These people are not gonna be making them in the back room and selling them out front.
Okay.
okay. Metal products, fabrication, machine, and welding shops.
The only one that I would take off there, blacksmith and welding shops are fine, sheet metal shops, machine shops, plating, stripping, and coating shops.
That's like phase.
They use some,
incorporated.
what Phase has got is nothing compared to when you're stripping some of these materials off and you're
Okay.
using acids and everything. They're in big tanks, and
nasty
tanks are in
stuff.
containment units and all that kind of stuff.
Nasty stuff.
But you still have, there eventually comes a time when you're getting rid of 450 gallons of acid. That, it's lost its strength, but it's still 450 gallons of acid.
Yikes. Okay, so
So I would take out the plating, stripping, and coating shops.
Okay.
Okay, so how, I mean, because I look at blacksmith and welding shops and,
Do we have any blacksmith shops in?
We do, we have, Bob's Welding up here, he's a blacksmith and a welder out on 144, he's not in town.
we have the guy doing the wrought iron there on
Wrought iron.
Paradise.
Yeah, that's
That's a small,
So that's good.
that's
Yes.
very similar.
that's
Okay.
artisan.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah,
okay,
mostly.
okay. I just want to make sure I
And
was,
and
yeah,
these,
that's fine.
these are shops that might be doing
Wally's.
production work.
Wally's.
Wow.
Yeah, Wally's Iron
Wally's
Works,
Iron
that's what
Works.
it is.
oh, okay.
Did you say Bob's?
Bob's,
Is it
no,
all about
Bob's
Bob?
Welding, Bob's
Oh,
Welding is
Bob's
down there
Welding,
too.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So we're taking out plating, stripping, and coating?
Plating, stripping, and coating.
I'm not sure you should take out coding.
When you get to coating, you're getting to the anodizes, okay, and the same process, okay, is your,
It's all self-contained in an enclosed environment, right?
yes, okay, and it stays active and lasts for so long, and then you have to get rid of it. You have to take this tank and suck it all out, clean it all out, and put new product in there. Okay, that's when your best chance for an accident and that kind of stuff, because you're taking it out of a containment unit. Because what they make them do now, what they did at Phase, is they have a concrete containment unit, and they have a tank that sits down in that. Now, when you take that tank, or you're pumping it out of that tank, that's the biggest chance you've got for contamination of some kind.
Okay,
How much will that hinder the metal products fabrication?
None at all. The state of Maryland is very, very bad. They won't hardly let a plater open up in the state now, but down in Baltimore, there's some old platers that are down there that they pick it up and they deliver it 2 days later. And they have all the coating processes going down there. as far as the machine shops, welding shops, and sheet metal shops, and they all basically use the same types of finishing and stripping and that kind of stuff. The plating and stripping are where I would have the biggest problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. But
But I'm
Phase
just
has,
thinking- I mean, I'm
They
thinking
have-
further out than what we do now.
Right.
There's coatings out there.
oh yeah, there's, they apply, where you used to paint something, they apply paint with an electrical charge, electropainting, or, it's not,
Plating?
huh?
Electric plating?
No, electroplating is black anodize
Yeah.
and clear anodize and that kind of stuff, where they chemically charge, or no, they electrically charge a
It
part
adheres.
and put it down into a solution, okay, and it adheres and actually gets drawn into the metal itself.
Wow.
Okay, so they give you very nice coatings. The only problem is you also have to take that stuff off sometimes. So you, once again, you have the vats of acid that are kept at a particular temperature. And even before something gets black anodized, it gets put down in a cleaner to remove all the grease, grime, dirt, and everything so that it will adhere.
Is that the same for powder coating?
Powder coating is what I was saying. That's a coating shop. Powder coating is paint. It's paint that's just sprinkled on and then
Right.
electrically charging the part, and the
So
paint actually
can we
melts
keep-
onto the part.
Can we keep coating without plating and stripping?
I'll say no.
I don't think so, because it's all basically the same thing.
Because Phase doesn't do the plating and stripping.
No, they do iridite. That's all Phase does, is clear and,
But they also do powder coating.
well, they do powder coating in their
So, I
paint.
mean, if you take that out of there, I mean, that
Okay,
might impact. I mean, I
let-
understand the plating and stripping.
And that powder coating is more of a paint, okay? And you're not talking painting here, you're talking plating, stripping, and coating.
So, but wouldn't paint be considered a coating?
Is
Well-
powder coating okay?
Huh?
Is powder coating?
Yeah, powder
acceptable?
coating's okay, because it's not like you're spraying something, okay? You're sprinkling a powder onto a part, okay? And then you electrically charge the part. The powder melts and adheres to the part.
Could you put in there coating or coating shops other than the specific ones that you're concerned about with the retained asbestos?
Well, stripping handles it. If you had plating and coating shops, that would, as long as they're not stripping, but they can't do their job without stripper there, because that's what they're,
But then you can't get killed on the coating part with paint, powder coating and stuff like that, you're still allowing that to happen. If you eliminate stripping, you eliminate the other hazardous things without including painting or
Okay.
powder coating.
I'd like to wrap this up. So I've learned more about fabrication or plating or coating than I've ever known before.
Why don't you move that to a special exception? And then they have to go and explain what they do, and then if it's not,
you know what, I like that, okay? Because it keeps it in, because it's not integral to the product. There are other people that they can send it to do it. But like Phase does their own in some lines.
Okay, so plating, stripping still out, coating shops would be in.
Other than paint and whatever. it is,
Powder coating?
Would need a special exception, because those are safe, right?
Yeah, I think Roxanne's got the idea. Plating, stripping, and coating, special exception.
Okay, well then you need to come up with a special exception criteria. We'll work on that.
Eliminate it. No, I'm
Yippee.
only kidding, I'm only
Yeah.
kidding.
yeah.
I think powder coating takes out a lot of metal shops.
Sheet metal's the only one that does any painting. Machine shops don't have paint booths and all
Are we
that kind of
putting
stuff in
any
them.
coating in as a use
Powder-
permitted by
powder
right?
coating?
No,
Powder,
what I would like to see is plating, stripping, and coating, special exception.
even if it's powder?
Yes.
Wait. First of all, you talked about all the process of plating and stripping, and now you wanted a special exception?
Well, that's what we were just, isn't that what we just said?
I thought it was just the
Yeah,
coating
that-
shops were a special
We
exception.
don't want any plating, right?
No,
Because
no plating, no stripping, and coating is such a, I mean, powder coating, yes, black anodized is a coat also.
Okay,
Um,
so,
So then just put the
So it's just but
Coating
coating
shops.
shops by
That's what I
special
said.
Right,
exception.
that's,
Okay.
yes, plating, stripping, and coating shops by special exception.
No, no. I thought plating and stripping is out. And coating shops is special
Coating
exception.
shops by special exception.
Coating shops by special
Even
can't-
powder.
That's what I heard.
We are not allowing
too.
plating or stripping by use permitted by right or special
Gonna
exception.
shut down whole sections of Baltimore.
Boom.
Well, that's fine.
Stripping.
Keep it involved.
Yes.
Keep it in Baltimore.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, we agree, coating
shops,
special exception.
Okay.
Work with Bob.
Working with Bob.
Okay, Bob, you got it. Okay,
I think we can scratch.
yeah, paper product manufacturing.
Already discussed that.
Can we, yeah, it's heavy. Can we go ahead and kill that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How about photo, film,
Now,
processing?
Well, Madam Chair?
Yep, okay.
It does not include the manufacturing of pulp paper or paper board. So it's.
Oh, okay.
It,
It's making
it makes
cardboard
like
boxes
gift
and stuff.
bags,
envelopes.
maybe,
Oh.
Okay, that's different.
wrapping
Oh,
paper,
okay.
wallpaper,
That's different.
boxes.
But is there still, I mean, if you're making wallpaper, is there any type of a smell?
It says paper. Does not include manufactured pulp paper.
It converts pre-manufactured paper.
Paper or paper
paper
board into
boards.
boxes, envelopes, paper bags, wallpaper, et cetera.
Sounds
And/or
safe.
that coats or glazes pre-manufactured paper. Oh,
Hold on one second.
Yep.
I think we turned it on.
Yeah, the mics are on.
Yeah.
What, is yours not on, Linda?
Right.
We're gonna have to go back and say all this all over
Oh, my
again.
Lord.
Forget it.
We've been meeting for an hour and a half.
Oh.
I thought,
We have it on ours.
did,
Just
is he,
hit.
did you flip the switch?
The two switches are on.
Did you-
The two knobs on the right, and they
Mhm.
need to go up.
Yeah,
Did you flip the
they,
kill switch?
they need to go up.
That's what I didn't do.
Yep, that's
Oh.
okay, cause we have it on our
Okay,
end.
I think he just turned it up. Can you hear me now?
And we can provide them with a digital copy that they can sync right in.
They'll speak loud now.
Huh? Speak loud?
Okay.
Thank you, Barney.
I think he didn't.
Thank you,
Is
Barney.
that loud enough? Somebody say something. Test.
Something.
Can we move on, please?
Hello?
That's
Paper,
okay.
paper product manufacturing. I'm sure our audience at home would love.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue.
Okay,
Although,
Okay.
I agree.
Okay,
I
so
can't,
we said-
I don't have any, I can't come up with, in my
Okay.
mind, something
okay.
that fits
Okay.
there.
I have little of mine
All
left.
right, well, hopefully our
Okay.
DVD caught it.
So-
So we'll go from here.
Okay. Photo,
All right.
film, processing
Good
lab.
night. Bye-bye.
Transfer the prints, but-
Silver? No?
So no? Okay,
Okay.
nope. Next page, how much longer?
Married to an artist, and I don't know nothing about that one.
Lumber and wood product manufacturing.
The milling of forest products, that seemed,
Mm,
no,
That's
No.
not going to
that
fit.
seems to
Okay, so
be-
let's just go down the list.
That's probably a pretty
Containers, how about
large-
containers, pallets, and skids? No?
No, this is,
Let's start from the top, guys. Containers, pallets, and skids, no? No, we,
that's probably the best one, the easiest one out of there.
Right.
to take out, right? Or are we keeping it?
I would keep that.
Okay, okay. Manufactured in modular homes?
Modular homes are gonna take a lot of space.
A lot of
Yeah, you're right.
space, and there's a lot of other stuff besides wood that goes in them, too.
Yeah. So we should take it out?
Yeah, I would
think
take
we
it
would
out.
just
Okay.
They're all
use-
pre-manufactured products.
Okay.
I mean, they're just assembling in those plants.
But are they gonna have?
So do we
a
put it,
yard Like
we-
those camper yards that you see going down 95 full of modular?
no, well, I think 84 lumber,
Because they can't afford to sit on them for any length of time.
I think 84 lumber has
They
a,
build them, they're supposed, they move, yeah, they have to, because they,
Now,
Big-
remember, this is for the OPE.
right,
Yeah.
I mean,
lumber does this
Hamlet I
Right,
consider, I
and,
consider most of this in your industrial, but that's me.
No,
Yeah.
it's a bit beyond what I would consider office park employment.
Mhm.
except for the employment, but.
Yeah.
I mean, my guidance on this is perhaps not appropriate. If there is an interested party,
Okay,
then we
but-
can go back.
We go from manufactured and modular homes to matches.
So are we even keeping manufactured and modular homes in there?
You want me to put a check beside that one and working with Frank?
What matches?
No,
modular
modular
homes.
homes. My inclination is to take it out.
I've given my guidance.
Patty?
Take it
Thoughts?
out?
I don't have any thoughts, whatever.
So-
Okay, let's take that out because we've got trusses and structural beams down here,
Okay.
you know, later on that are
So-
probably more.
Matches wood? Okay,
Are they?
so take it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
You imagine a whole warehouse of, strike rates, come on.
Okay, so we're taking it out?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Milling operations, I would say take that out.
I would say leave that one in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it out, just out of curiosity.
Well, I was thinking it was just sawmills or something like that, where they're cutting.
No, this is really like crown molding and stuff like
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
They're making, you
Pretty
know, like you're
decorative
molding
stuff.
on the wall
Okay.
over there and that kind of stuff.
okay.
Trusses.
Trusses and structural beams, Bob
Yeah.
can't wait to get this one.
Yes, I think we leave that in.
Okay.
Mhm.
Turning and shaping wood products, yes then?
Yes.
Wholesaling of basic wood products. What is that?
Mm.
It's like a lumber yard.
Well,
So no?
no.
Okay, kill it.
Why no?
We used to have one downtown here, guys.
Yeah,
Spindles
People's
and
Lumber.
People's Lumber was here for forever.
Yes, I know, sweetie. It's not here anymore. So,
Why the home?
What
Was
is
it
the
bad?
intent of the office park employment?
doesn't-
Wholesaling.
It doesn't make
has-
sense.
You know what, you're right, that's more of a retail establishment, somebody's coming in,
We have
And, you
84
know,
lumber.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep.
picking up two
Yep.
2x4s and,
Yeah.
okay,
You're
wood
right.
product assembly, is that maybe you make?
It says wholesale.
It's like a lumber.
For
Yeah, so I said
contractors.
take it out. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, Mike.
84 wholesales, but I can go up there and buy 2x4s if I
Okay.
want.
But if you're wholesaling, you're not having retail, right?
Yeah, but you've got
You're just
lumber.
making it, and somebody's picking it up, and
Yeah.
you're putting it on their truck and.
It's
The
too
idea
close.
It's-
isn't
yeah,
to
okay.
Too close.
create-
A sale, you don't want a sales counter, you want a product that goes on the truck and goes somewhere else.
This is industry.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
isn't that wholesale?
I keep losing,
that's why
I
it's
keep
taking it
losing
out.
sight of that.
I'm trying to bring it back.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Wood
agreement is-
product assembly?
Hmm?
What did we decide on wood product assembly?
We hadn't. We were trying to finally kill
That is
wholesaling of basic
really
wood products. So we
wrong.
killed that one. Wood product assembly,
That seems a little
It seems
broad.
really
okay, take it
broad.
out. Okay, moving slowly. Machinery manufacturing. An establishment that makes, processes raw materials into finished machines or parts machines does not include the manufacture of electronics, equipment, or appliances.
I say leave it. As a function of our machine shop, there were some pieces of equipment that we made that we had all the drawings, we made the whole thing, tested them, blah, 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 shipped them in there. So that is part of manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
But see, we didn't make the little lights, you know, you get those from Radio Shack and you get these circuits from here and
So you
this
were taking
chain
those
from
pieces and
here.
put 'em-
And so you take what you've custom made and assemble it with these other parts, and you end up with a piece of equipment.
Okay, well, it's under the light, so that's fine with me. Okay, consensus is okay to keep it in?
All right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
keep it in.
Motor vehicles and transportation equipment. I would say no.
I would say no too.
It's just too scary.
A Dodge plant is a pretty big thing, you know?
Well, yeah, okay, you guys agree? Patty,
Yeah.
Bill?
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah,
Okay.
agreed.
Stone and stone cut product
Lindy.
man,
Lindy.
yep,
Yeah,
I'm
John.
sorry, oh, sir.
Yeah, Nora Brake in Westminster, which is a huge asset, it would fit in this category. And I can't imagine that Mount Airy would be against something as positive asset as Nora Brake, which makes, brakes and
Air conditioner.
But this says manufacture of equipment for transporting passengers by cargo
yeah.
or cargo by land, air, and sea.
And they're making it for, metropolitan areas, subways, that's what they do. It's a wonderful company and
They make subway cars and stuff?
No, they make the
They
brakes.
make the braking
There's the
system.
brakes.
Just the brakes.
Okay, well, that's, this one right here, it has nothing to do with, this is making making of equipment for transporting passengers and cargo by land, air, and sea, including motor vehicle,
It says-
equipment, heating
Yeah.
and air conditioning and.
equipment for transporting, not equipment for stopping as you're being transported.
It also says includes
It's manufactured
motor vehicle parts
and accessories, yep.
Yeah.
Nor brake would be in this category.
That's
You
right.
would it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you would be so fortunate to have a company like that come in that area, it would be a godsend to this region and to this town. And I just ask you to,
Good point.
Yeah, good point,
Okay, we can leave that one in.
Well, no.
okay.
I would, because it looks to me that they're talking about
if you haven't seen.
subway
If
cars.
you haven't seen Colonel Brake, maybe you
I
should have a
have
field trip.
I
I
seen it.
have, I ride by it daily.
Okay, Heather, what do you have to say?
Leaving the entire thing would allow motor vehicles and transportation equipment. Is that the will of the planning commission, or do you simply want to allow the opportunity for a,
Motor vehicle parts.
Yeah,
right,
just the
the
manufacturer.
manufacturer
Manufacturer of motor vehicle
Okay.
parts
Yeah,
and
okay,
accessories.
that's perfect.
That's
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, so,
Trim it down like that.
yep,
okay.
and thank you, sir, thanks for your comments.
Trailers and campers,
We're just
self-contained
doing,
motorhome, fan
we'll
conversion.
work it in to include, we'll work it in to allow the manufacture of motor vehicle parts and accessories.
Okay,
Okay, not the entire vehicle or. Now, I did think that spacecraft would be kind of cool, if we could do a Goddard type sort of thing, but
It's
to
hard
be honest,
it's
I
hard
was
to
a
get
little
from here to
excited about
Cape
that,
Canaveral.
but-
yeah.
okay. Okay, yes, sir.
Caboose, I don't know.
No, it's not out of the question that an aircraft industry like a Boeing that's in South Carolina, or somebody might
Mm-hmm,
do some of the parts, or, I don't think you're gonna build a 747 down there, but it's possible that they might
Sure.
make some of
The
the
parts.
Sure.
So if we turn this category into the parts and accessory for motor vehicles and transportation equipment,
Yep.
that
okay,
would
that
cover
works,
it. Okay.
okay. Okay, stone and cut stone product manufacturing.
I would say yes.
Yeah, because we don't have, well, we have the kitchen store,
It's,
but.
it's very similar
It's very industrial.
with the way that it's done now. It's very similar to a machine shop. Most of these
Okay.
most of your countertops are custom cut
It's software.
in a facility with CNC machines. The only thing that's different is the tooling's a little bit different.
Now, this would not be the customer coming to, like in Twin Ridge, would M&M
Yeah,
Forest?
yeah, yeah.
It's not going to include a showroom, this is
Okay,
just
then
the components, correct? We
Yeah, it
are,
would-
we
it
are
would
not
be the
trying
cutting.
to
Yeah.
Customized.
solicit a lot of additional customer traffic. This is for employees
Mhm.
that work there.
It probably wouldn't work
Then
actually,
this
the
is
more I
not,
think
this
about
is
it.
not gonna work.
No, because
Yeah.
people have to see the
Yeah, you
granite
have to see, you
before-
have to go pick it out,
So I
you
don't
know.
see it
That's
working.
right.
that be like a yard that's got 1,000 slabs of granite? that
Right.
the local
Yeah,
guy can
that-
go to and buy a piece of granite rather than have to.
Well, all of these
Inventory.
activities are to be indoors,
Yeah.
so the,
Well,
Yeah.
there's a place up in Frederick that's got tons of granite under roof from
Yeah, I don't know how
So,
you would do this
15.
without having being attached to some kind of retail end on it.
Mhm.
Because you go in, you buy your granite, they come out and measure your house. Okay, they go, and they go and cut it, and they come out, and in 15 minutes, they've installed it and they're gone.
well, let's say if there's a in the downtown zone, I operate a kitchen remodeling, and I have samples, but I have contracted with a manufacturer for the, you know,
To provide me my granite or
Right.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when we
I'm
buy
not
our
doing it
granite, you
there.
go into a large warehouse and you're looking at all different
yeah.
kinds of
Yeah,
granite.
this is not, from my understanding of previous
That's-
discussions, this is not meant to be, this is meant to be for employment and manufacturing,
That's
not
right.
when people
And
are
I understand,
perusing.
but doing this
So-
granite is very hands-on, the customer is very hands-on with this.
You have to pick out the slab that you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
that one,
Yeah.
they,
They're all
and when
different.
you pick it out, they take it right then.
There's a human connection that's involved.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
I don't see
So
it
this
working.
won't work.
The cabinet discounters out here
Mhm.
in Point Arch, okay, in the industrial park,
Mhm.
okay, they fabricate as well as show
Right.
cabinets
Mhm.
as part
Mhm.
of, the rest of the operations, but their primary job there is to fabricate the stone into whatever it's needed for. When you go to Vermont, they can send you to Vermont in Frederick, which is a huge warehouse near the airport, that you can walk through and see these big slabs and pick out one.
Right.
Vermont doesn't do anything except transport this product, they bring it in, and then they ship it back out to cabinet discounters and whoever else wants it. So you don't want a Vermont, particularly in an OPE, if you're gonna employ people of any volume, it would be somebody like cabinet discounters.
Which is in the
who's actually
industrial-
taking a CNC machine and manufacturing these
Mhm.
products.
Frank
But
and I
that's-
agree on that.
And that's, yeah, and I agree too,
That's
because,
as much of a definition as we can come up with here for that. Now, stone itself, there's a lot of different stone, okay? Now, I'm thinking more of the
Diamonds.
craft type stone
Yeah.
products, you know, which there may be something to that. Now, we could also talk about diamonds.
Diamonds.
Diamonds are stones that everybody would like to have there, I'm sure. And, you know, diamonds are incorporated in a lot of things
right.
for whatever reason, so, you know. most
Diamond tip
abrasives-
laser points or something
But,
like that.
yeah, so I don't know how you would approach this otherwise, but.
Yeah.
Roxanne, you had
know,
something to
light
add?
Industrial use.
Roxanne, did you want to add anything?
Well, no, I agree with Frank.
Okay.
I think it's more industrial.
Okay, so what's the consensus? Take it out?
Yeah, I
think
don't
so.
think you
Okay,
can, in my mind, this is more of a retail thing.
okay. Structural clay and pottery product manufacturing.
I think you keep, yeah, this one's good.
This is okay, I think.
Because it's like, next door, she buys a lot of things that are pre-made, that people come in and paint and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
Right.
that's
Oh my
the
God, we
kind of
got
stuff.
through
An
it.
establishment that produces brick
Yeah,
and
really.
structural clay products, do they mean brick?
Yeah, they mean brick.
So we're okay with brick, manufacturing of bricks? We're good with that?
It sounds industrial.
Why don't we, you want to
Yeah,
define it
this is
some?
not something that you're having the customer come in and take the chimenea that, you know, you just made. You're just making a bunch of chimeneas and they're going out to Walmart and
Okay, so now we're back to the structural clay. What's the consensus then? Take it out?
no.
Okay, keep,
Killing bricks with huge chimneys, go up to Hagerstown. Brick, structural clay products, structural means that they're built with this stuff, that's what.
Including pipe, china, plumbing fixtures. Oh, okay, down here, does not include artists,
Yeah, and
artists,
then-
craftsmen, uses.
so then
okay.
I
Take it out.
take it out.
So,
Okay.
To industrial then.
Yep. Hetty, we got through it.
Excuse me?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes?
We go back to the stone and cut stone product. It doesn't say that we're gonna establish a warehouse for picking it out. It just says that you're going to do what this other company now they must already do, which is to cut it and shape it. They're not storing it. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like from this, or maybe it can be structured so it doesn't say it's gonna be a warehouse for picking the stone out, only manufacturing it. I mean, cutting it and shaping it. mean, it is an area where we have lots of building and homes, and, you know, we're in between Baltimore and Frederick, which is gonna continue to happen in the next 50 years. I think it might be something that you might wanna have as a possibility.
Well, the place that he's talking about down here is more retail. You go in there and you buy your kitchen cabinets and they sit down and help you. This office park is no retail. Nobody coming in doing that. The customers aren't coming in.
So that's the distinction we're trying to,
All right.
okay.
It's something that,
I appreciate that, thank you. Okay, going once, going twice. We've killed it. Heather, are you still alive?
I am.
Yippee! Okay, so, next steps.
this is where it gets confusing.
Well,
Yeah.
no, just,
Yes,
we're
please walk.
just looking for the general classifications of permitted manufacturing. What this is to, in looking at these, general descriptions, we don't wanna look at them as necessarily a whole. We just wanna highlight what is acceptable, cross out what we don't want. And it's going to basically tie in with the conversation that we just held with regard to the different types of manufacturing. But what this is going to lead us into is a general sort of purpose and intent statement. So fear not. Just
Okay.
let's cross out the words that, I guess, give us shivers, and let's highlight the words that are acceptable, okay?
Okay, well, category A sounds okay to me.
Yeah.
But, you have.
Because we don't have to pick one, we're not picking one.
Ceramic Studios implies that the public's gonna come in and look at it.
Or you're making your ceramic pots there. Yeah, the word studio is the
Well,
problem.
We need to scratch studios.
Yeah,
So cross out studios?
Ceramic manufacturers.
yes, ceramic manufacturers is fine, but cross out studios.
Okay.
Heather? Hi.
Hi Frank, how are you?
Hey, in these categories of manufacturing that we're listing and defining, will these be generic to any instance of zoning where you're gonna want to define manufacturing, or are we trying to limit this only to OPE type zoning?
This is probably yes and no.
Well, I don't think there should be a yes or a no on this, because I think it'll come down to a legal definition that the town is gonna be adhered to and called to in any instance where we're defining a category for manufacturing.
That's the yes part. I have to, look, stay where we are. I got this.
She's
All right?
got a test at the end.
Let us go through this, and then at the end, we're gonna have the information that we need, but I need the planning commission to do this for the OPE. Okay?
Okay.
Is it because it's like you've got you've got, it's a balancing act, right?
It's because it's the purpose and intent for the OPE.
But then if you.
Don't look at, there's a reason why I have a category A, B, C, D. I did not
don't have a
list.
problem with categorizing all this.
But
But we're creating a category for OPE.
No.
And then we turn around, somebody comes in industrial.
Frank,
And wants to say,
Frank,
okay, what manufacturing?
you're getting way ahead of me.
All we're trying to do is understand one word here, manufacturing.
Yes.
This has been the problem, and this is why we haven't been able to move further along, because we're always thinking of the end result. I'm trying this a different way. Stay with me, all right? Thank you, all right.
Let's follow
All right,
Heather.
So studios, we don't like for that.
Okay.
Ceramic manufacturing.
Okay, Anything else on category A? Everything else is fine?
It's good to me.
Okay, category B. I think it's fine for me. It looks like everything we've approved. What do you guys say?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
category C. Now we start getting into the textile mills, textile product mills, apparel manufacturing, leather and allied product manufacturing. This is kind of stuff we,
All right,
Yep,
so.
it took out.
Textile
Yeah.
mills, take
Yeah.
out, textile product mills.
okay, textile mills take out textile.
Now, this-
Chemical,
this should
plastics,
be
and rubber, yeah.
Pared back a good bit.
Allied
C goes
product
away, I think.
manufacturing.
Do you want to take a C all the way out?
No, because you got
No.
primary metal and fabricated metal product manufacturing down the bottom here.
Okay, so we're keeping up to, we're taking from textile mills all the way out
But
to,
what about apparel manufacturing?
Because we kept that in.
yeah, we kept that in, okay, so keep that one in. But leather and allied product manufacturing.
Yeah, that,
Take that out.
textile mills.
Okay, wood product manufacturing, that we had.
Paper manufacturing,
No.
because that's making,
Okay, we said chemical manufacturing, we defined what that was.
Right.
Plastics and rubber products manufacturing.
that.
That's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Non-metallic mineral product manufacturing? Ooh. Keep it? Okay. Transportation equipment manufacturing, primarily,
Accessories, transportation.
Transportation equipment, parts and accessories.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Okay, then primary metal manufacturing,
Yeah,
okay, and fabricated metal product manufacturing.
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Then part B of it, industrial service firms engaged in the repair or servicing of industrial or commercial machinery, equipment, products, or byproducts, welding shops, machine, carpet cleaning plants, and photo finishing laboratories.
That's really specific.
Yeah, okay, but so we're gonna keep it in, because we did say yes to the welding
Now,
shop.
photo finishing, you guys took out.
We took it out, yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
you were,
took it out.
but you were giving us an example, so take out the.
Right.
So,
So, and typical uses, we're confirming welding shops.
Well, and I think what we're talking about here in, welding shop, let's see, what was I thinking about? Industrial, commercial, machinery, equipment, products, and byproducts, and they're talking about, repair, servicing or repair.
mhm.
Your people are going out to, because these are 5-ton pieces of equipment sitting in somebody's machine shop somewhere that need to be fixed. So you're ordering parts through there and that kind of stuff, but most of your customers, the equipment's sitting in their shop, and you're coming, that's where you operate from, that's your office, basically. You're not fixing the equipment there, you're fixing it in my shop.
And then I don't see that fits into an OPE.
Yeah.
What's a machine carpet cleaning plant?
Yeah.
Is that when they clean the carpet? or
Yes, they
machine
come,
when
they come and take your Oriental rugs out of your house, and they take it back to their place and clean it.
That's what they use.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
heavy-duty
Okay.
chemical.
I think that whole
Carbon
page
check
is
for fluoride, I believe.
Take out, you're saying take out all of B, or take out just the welding machine, all of B?
I wouldn't,
Industrial.
all of B, industrial service firms engaged in the repair or servicing of industrial or commercial machinery, equipment.
Is that like an oil change for a backhoe
No, well, it could be,
or a dozer or something?
or that's, you know,
Yeah.
my $250,000 Matsura goes down, and, you know, they come out to me and fix it. They can't come and pick that machine up and take it back to their shop. They come and they diagnose the problem in my shop, they order the parts. 2 days later, they come out and fix my machine.
But could John Deere open up there and set up a tractor repair shop?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's it's not the use we envisioned for OPE.
Yeah, it's industrial or
That's
commercial
that's
equipment,
Yeah.
it's not,
Okay.
it doesn't say
Something like
farming
that down
equipment
to-
on there.
Yeah, I
Let's-
think,
yeah,
I
that's what
think
you
we
do.
take this
Yeah.
whole B
Take
out.
it out, I agree, we're killing
But
B.
what about the catering establishments, because we have catering,
Yeah, but that's not under B,
That's not in B.
that's not in B.
isn't is category?
Yeah, but we're not, we're talking, no,
Oh, you're talking right here. Okay, I got
subset
Okay,
B.
you wanna
that's-
take B out, take B out.
No, we're talking, okay, we're talking about
All right.
subset B under
B
category
or
C, guys.
Category C, B, okay. I was
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah, not category B manufacturing, it's B
Right,
under
okay,
C.
yeah.
Small b under.
Yes,
capital C.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, now, category D manufacturing.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go through each, just to make sure.
There's nothing in there I like.
You have it, poisons,
No.
explosives, radioactive materials, God, that's a great.
Paint,
Smelting, animal
nope.
slaughtering,
Lacquer,
oil
varnish,
refining.
slaughter
I think
products.
Oh,
it's
animal
scratch
slaughter, there it is,
slaughtering.
I knew it was in there somewhere.
So what about this list do you like?
I don't like any.
Nothing.
I
Then why,
want-
then why are you making us go line by line? We don't like
We
anything in
hope
D.
somebody builds it all somewhere
It
else.
builds on the intent, so
Okay.
there's no question.
The audience
Okay.
was right the first time.
Okay, how about category E? Limited manufacturing, fabrication, or assembly operations which would, by the nature of the product or magnitude of production, be categorized by an absence of nuisances or compatible with research professional or business offices.
And what the hell does that mean?
I don't know,
So
my head
broad.
hurts.
I'd like to come up with a little better definition.
Okay,
For what?
Category E,
Uh-huh.
limited manufacturing, fabrication or assembly operations which would, by nature of the product or magnitude of the product, be related primarily to research, development, and/or testing.
Oh, that's
I like
nicer.
that.
Yes.
related to research, development, or testing. Very good.
Yeah, that's great.
They have to come up with the first one somewhere.
Okay.
That's very good, Frank.
Okay, that's great.
That
Now-
changes that completely.
Yeah, that
Well,
makes it,
yeah,
okay, and how about the research and development, example A?
Research and development is beautiful.
Okay, and she's right. I like it.
Now, go to.
Yep.
No.
Now, research and development is the other component of the OPE. So
Yep.
the manufacturing is the one that is a little bit of an obstacle to narrow down. Research and development is beautiful.
Okay.
The
Yep.
examples that go through the examples.
Okay, next
Okay?
page. Next page, medicine, chemistry, computer science. Are we supposed to say what we don't like?
Yep,
Bio-
if
okay.
there are concerns with any of those.
Well, as long as they don't have the cow in there for the animal science, I'm okay with it. I mean,
I'm good with all these.
I'm good with all of
I-
them.
That's what I wrote in my notes, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, this is what we originally were hoping for.
Right.
Yep,
Well, that's why I put it at the bottom.
okay.
Lindy,
Yes,
got a hand up.
I'm sorry.
So, in my head, is there part of this OPE that involves with distribution?
Well, that's the other conversation.
Okay, so that you haven't gotten to that yet.
Because with all of the uses that we've gone through, with the manufacturing, that's the one aspect. Then they're not gonna manufacture it just to keep in the building. So the distribution does become a discussion, and the planning commission needs to focus on when that discussion comes to play. Is it a site plan issue? Is it an APFO issue? We've got a pen up in the air.
Distribution, I have made parts that 60,000 of them will fit into a small box, okay? And 5 of another part takes an 18-wheel trailer to get them out of there.
Okay.
So distribution is something that's
Well-
very,
Am I gonna have to do this for distribution as well?
no,
Please
because
no.
you won't get it, you won't get something like
I
this.
mean, I
And-
thought we were gonna have a filter
Okay,
that also dealt with.
Mike's
You know,
next.
truck trips or trailer trips or.
That's what I thought,
That sort of a
yeah.
factor. That's gonna be another filter, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
It's not.
We,
Why not?
there were comments shared, with limiting, like any type of, now when you say filter, are you talking about a limitation?
A consideration. I thought there might potentially be a cap.
So you're gonna tell me that you're gonna allow me to come in here and build my product, but you're gonna limit me to 1 pickup a day, where I need 7.
I'm not talking about being that restrictive.
But I mean, I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to take it to the very max.
And And I would say you'd have to project, given the potential number of businesses and the types of businesses and so forth, you would try to project, so what's impact? What does impact
Well,
look
I'm,
like?
you know, I'm always looking at my business to grow, so I need one pickup a day now. 3 years from now, after I get kicked in and everything's going, I wanna have 8 pickups, 9 pickups a day. I wanna be doing 3, 4, 5 times the business.
That's
that I'm
not
doing
unlike
now.
why we're doing a Highway 27 corridor study,
Huh?
to try to do that kind of projection down the road and get a sense.
Could Mike jump in with what you had to add?
So what I meant by distribution, I meant companies that rely totally on distribution, such as like a dog food company that's based in Topeka, Kansas, getting their food to different places. They
Like
have
distribution centers.
Mhm.
where they employ a lot of people. They're just ferreting food.
Like Costco.
But
to
that's not,
hospitals, to grocery stores, or for that matter, you know, like some of these food distribution
And
networks.
that's what I'm going back to here, that we already talked about.
They employ-
that we're
so
not
this would
making the
be
product
not
there.
manufacturing, but just totally
No.
distribution.
But
An
all
actual
that is
distribution
distribution
center?
right
No.
there.
no, we were,
No.
no.
I'm
The bottling
sorry.
plants and all that.
Yep, nope,
That's not
nope, we already
OPE.
doing it.
No,
Not an OPE.
Okay, I'm asking.
No.
Not an OPE.
That's not
Yeah.
part of, so FedEx or.
That's not the concept.
No.
no, it is local, it is
Okay.
It's not incremental.
manufacturing research.
Yeah.
No, it won't be a distribution site,
Okay,
Right.
no.
that's all.
Okay.
But
So,
the distribution
oh, you're asking
of-
for something like if a McMaster car wanted to come and build down there. And that's a
Now-
huge facility, and
Yeah.
it'd be crazy not to take them, but
there is a component that if research and development was only allowed, and that manufacturing was limited to that research and development, and there was no manufacturing of any volume, that is another way that can go to ensure that there is no distribution. But from the manufacturing activities that you guys accepted tonight,
There has to be a distribution.
there has to be a manner and means
Yeah,
of
because
Yeah.
distributing those
in
products.
manufacturing, you're basically making a product
And it's
and
leaving.
shipping it out to your customer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so distribution's gotta come in there somewhere. You know, you have things in an area like this, you're gonna have 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 trash haulers that are gonna come in there, you know, and dump in dumpsters. Go ahead.
Go, this is.
Go for it,
Yeah,
Frank.
This is what you're here for.
We want to kill this once and for all.
So when these people come in for site plan approval, why isn't that impact, you know, brought up and discussed and then, you know, nixed or whatever, or changed at that time because of the Carter study, primarily, because of the, impact it would have on neighbors and other
Right.
businesses in there.
Right.
So,
Not tying it to the zoning classification.
Well,
Right.
and you also should have an adequate public facilities ordinance in every zoning district that's there.
It
Period.
is.
It is for water and stuff, but not for.
No, any site plan
Yeah,
is tested.
commercial districts as well.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm. Now, not every category, like
Yeah.
schools, you know,
Mhm.
are, like OPE wouldn't, you know, be, tested for schools because there's no residential component. But roads, water, sewer,
Police and fire.
thank you, police and
Okay.
fire.
all that has
Right.
to be counted.
So those are site plan issues.
Right, so when that comes before the site plan, then, you know, that's certainly where all that can be
Right.
conditionally accepted or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
and that too, the impact will determine on the size of the operation, because you can, because in any one of these uses, that is deemed acceptable by the planning commission, or will be, or would be codified, they can range from small scale to large scale. So it depends on the square footage as well.
Well, and I don't want us to box ourselves into not allowing these businesses to grow. You know, every business wants to start and be doing twice as well next year as they are today.
And they, you know.
And that's something that we have
So
to
they
take
come
into
back in and
consideration.
appeal. right? At some point along the way, if they're growing, do they come back in and appeal, for
Yeah,
exemption
they're-
or for, you know, something
Yeah,
else?
the site plan approval, and that's something that will, you know, we may have to work through. If the, you know, site plan is approved for, X number of square feet at, you know, X number of production units, that's something that we haven't gotten into.
I think we may be more concerned than we need to be. The practical consideration of the scale we're talking about, the size of the parcels and so forth is such
Right.
that
Yeah.
I don't know that there will be that much opportunity to,
Oh, and I'm not talking about grow sidewise, I'm talking about grow dollars-wise, volume-wise, the amount of work that I'm putting out. Okay, I wanna make sure that we don't try to, you know, if a guy's doing trusses now and he's, you know, doing 1,000 a month, well, his goal next month is to do 1,001. And, you know, we're constantly, as small business, and we're constantly trying to do more work today than we did yesterday.
sure.
I don't like
That's
the
what keeps us
trusses,
alive and viable.
to be honest.
Huh?
I don't like the trusses. Because I've gotten
That's a good
behind the
point, though.
big truck
It's a good
carrying
point.
trusses. They don't go fast.
I'm just using them, okay, well,
I have to follow
widgets.
them all the way
Widgets, you
from
got-
Westminster.
Bob King makes widgets, and, you know,
You
I do
just
1,000
found one for
widgets
buttons?
today, I wanna do
If
1,001
you,
tomorrow.
I'm still against the
To this point,
trusses.
you know, this point is well taken as far as size of the OBEs that on
Right.
the horizon or vision that I see. I mean, if you get a building that's 40,000 square feet, I mean, that's gonna be a large building
Yes,
for
it is.
for OBE. I'm thinking they're gonna be 20,000 square feet or so. But the other thing, I think, maybe this is going a little too far, is potentially saying that within that building, you can't warehouse more than 20 or 25% of a
Of
product.
product.
Exactly.
Okay, because that limits the
That's overly
distribution
restricted.
That's a good
and
point.
limits the manufacturing to
Yeah.
some degree.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, I
it's
can't
inappropriate.
envision tons of tractor trailers coming in and out on a 20,000 square foot
So are you
building
suggesting
project
that we
only
add
has-
that?
It only has 10,000 square, or only has a couple thousand square feet of warehouse space.
Right.
So you're not gonna get a huge amount of truck traffic based on.
Are you suggesting that we could add that if there's a concern?
I shouldn't, I probably wouldn't.
Is that a Hail Mary?
Manufacturing, not keeping anything on site, then you are gonna have a lot of trucks coming in and out of there.
But there again, no, because irregardless, they have to warehouse the parts that they're gonna be utilizing. I can't envision a company that's gonna let tons of tractor trailers come in and they throw it all in a hopper and it just spits out the other end the next day. I just don't see that scenario.
Okay,
Maybe
we
I'm
had,
wrong,
we had a 6,000 square foot facility in Rockville, okay? 3 days a week, I got material deliveries, depending on what the next part was. Every day I had UPS taking parts out of there. So it doesn't happen on any regular pattern, but you're constantly shoving it in one door and shoving it out the
You
other.
can be, but you're talking small trucks for the
No,
most
no, no, no,
part,
no.
right?
It's
UPS?
Pennsylvania Steel. Okay, when they come down, it's a 53-foot trailer.
Trailer, right.
Okay, and they're pulling right in there and unloading a couple of 1,000 pounds of material, and off we go.
But he's talking about the end, when you have to take things out. I think we're looking at, in this office and manufacturing, that probably, hopefully, one of the larger, or one of the most, trucks that's gonna take the most trips is that UPS or FedEx.
Right.
That comes in and out of there all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens in an office complex, and so you're gonna see that.
Oh, yeah.
But the big tractor trailer, the 18-wheeler, is not gonna
No,
go in
he's
and out
like-
of there
Yeah.
like a FedEx or
Right.
UPS truck is.
Yeah, and besides, there's not gonna be yard storage.
Oh, no, there's,
outside
yeah.
Anyway, all this has to be within
Right.
contained in the
So,
building.
so there's gonna be a
building-
balance of production, distribution, and so forth.
I believe there should be.
I think so.
Without any trouble, just because of the size of the building.
Right.
That's what I was
And
thinking.
I think you're right too, Frank. It's not going to be huge production facilities that are, you know, I don't know, like we were talking over here with the Pank property. You know,
Yeah,
you don't have anything nearly that size. It's all gonna be small, not mom and pop operations, but, you know, you're probably talking 20, 30,000 square feet as your average size. You know, and that doesn't give you a whole lot of equipment to just constantly be pumping stuff out.
Not of any size.
No.
So do you want to consider having more easements than the norm for roads? Because you don't know what kind of stuff's gonna come out of this.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be, you know, when we get into the, you know, if we get into the
Well, that's the
concept
weeds.
plan.
Those
that's-
recommendations will be driven by these kinds of considerations.
Right.
I just think you can, if you look at Twin Arch Road now, I mean,
Yeah.
no one thought it would take off the way it has, and look at what we're sitting with. And if you try to do that, if you build that into some factor of it, or whatever. The other thing is, what about hours of operations? You could have a plant going 24/7.
Now, there are performance standards, that I don't have, they were in earlier versions.
yeah.
We sort of, like, took them away to focus on the uses.
Yeah.
But there are performance standards, and I spoke a little bit about those in the information that was distributed to the planning commission. And I don't know that there was hours of operation, but, we did talk to limit, or we did speak to limit like any type of idling. So I'll have to go back and refresh my memory, but that'll be performance standards is something that, you know, this body will
Wendy,
need to
how much
clarify,
more
you know,
Need to do on this.
That's what I'm gonna try to find out
put in
from Heather.
stone. I thought I put it in here, but I might have. Thank you, I did.
You did.
It was our, steps.
Yep. Heather, what's next?
I'm not done with performance standards yet. I'm trying to
know.
get a handle on that.
Let's,
You and Heather could have a sidebar
yeah.
on that
Heather,
later on.
why don't you let's tell us what's next so we don't,
Okay.
Ooh, what's next is Barney needs to turn on the air conditioning. Sounds hot. Or turn it down.
I have Lisa's sweater. Thank you so much, Lisa, for your sweater.
Lisa's got the fan over here. Okay, all right, hold on. So we're done well, how far do you want to go, Madam Chair?
Well, I don't want to kill everybody, but I want to get some meat on the table or some veggie meat on the table here, so.
So we got we got through this packet, which is really good.
Okay.
If we go to the little, office park and employment campus proposed uses, this is sort of the outline of what we had to do. It's this sheet,
Oh, okay.
and it says manufacturer. If you flip it on the back,
Okay.
those are, talk about, the OPE ordinance and performance standards.
What does it look like again?
Office
Kinda got
park
so
like
much
this.
stuff.
This,
It's a double-sided.
Yeah, the Office Park and Employment Campus is proposed uses. June 15th is the first.
And we do still need to come up with definitions of manufacturing, assembly, production, and all that good stuff, but I'll work with Bob and Tom and Frank on that.
Okay, so you're saying this first proposed use, you still have to define what manufacturer is?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
but I think with there has to be some legal definition. I looked into some case law, and there are some, you know, court-defined definitions.
Some of
Those
them,
definitions, I would feel more comfortable
Okay.
getting those, or formulating those from a legal perspective, and then I think that's the best way to do it. And then we can provide comment.
Manufacturing is making stuff.
I know, that's about what I came up with. And then assembly is putting together the stuff that you made. So did
Okay, so-
everybody find the performance standards?
Yep, I found it.
Okay. And these are actually from the, mostly from what we, had in the,
Whatever round?
yeah,
Yeah.
the original.
It's,
Do you wanna go through those just to verify that they're okay with everybody. Oh,
It
I
just
have
doesn't
this,
look
you
like
can have
yours.
yours
I'm
back.
looking at mine.
Oh,
It looks-
because,
Did we have enough
Different.
copies back there?
I guess it looks the
Yeah,
same.
it's the
yeah,
same.
I just did double print, I never double
What are
printed
you
the counts.
referring to?
It's, on one side it has, Office Park and Employment Campus, and it says proposed uses, June 15th, 2015.
You got it?
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Yep, Michelle has it.
I just wanna make
And
sure.
she'll sell you that one for $5.
Some of them were stapled and some of them weren't.
You stapling single pieces of paper now? It's been a busy day here at Town Hall.
I can tell.
They're weighted, so they stack nice.
Yes. Lisa
Okay.
manufactured some packets for you.
Okay. Okay.
So uses shall be conducted within enclosed buildings. Bob, we good?
Well, I
Yes,
start with proposed
I am
use,
now. We're on
manufacture,
number-
assembly.
Number 4 on the back, folks.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Numbers work. 4A, and I don't, I believe Frank
Yeah,
and Frank is okay with that?
okay.
Right? Okay, well, I'm just,
Well, what happened to 1 through? So we already skipped the other stuff and we're back on.
yeah,
Okay,
we've either done that
okay,
or
okay, cool.
I don't know that we want to define those terms right now or seek to.
Does that mean you're not gonna tell us what performance standards means?
I'm sorry, I assume, performance standards are more regulations as to how any use needs to operate. So even though it's a permitted use, there are standards that they need to comply
Right.
with while they're operating, like within a particular building.
Okay.
Okay.
So, uses shall be conducted within enclosed buildings.
Okay, that
So
makes-
this means no outdoor activities,
Okay.
no outdoor storage.
So screening for mechanical equipment, is that that's the stuff on the top of the roof, or that actually?
Anywhere.
Anyway,
Yeah,
okay.
that's that 48-foot air conditioning unit you got out
Yeah,
there. or
anywhere,
48-inch air
rooftop. And the other thing, specifically with the Harrison Lucier, property that we're gonna need to talk about is the topographical, if I could say it right, differences. Because Main Street
Right,
is
right.
higher, so they're gonna be
Right.
looking down. So we're gonna
Looking
have to
down.
have a bit of an innovative discussion to, learn how to best deal with that.
Okay.
Okay.
I've talked to Frank about living roofs, like maybe some maples on the roof. I don't know, haven't gotten anywhere with that yet, but we'll continue to chat about that.
Yes, sir.
Under mechanical equipment, if someone was to put solar panels on their roof for energy efficiency, we want to have to screen them. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you're getting into.
Yeah, and that's a really good topic of discussion.
I would think no.
Why would you?
Yeah.
I would think you'd wanna, you'd wanna promote the fact.
Mechanical equipment, so that's where
Right.
you get into problems.
We're getting into renewable energy within the town. It's not something that we've widely explored.
There might even
Um,
be incentives that you want to
Mm-hmm.
offer.
Yeah.
But I mean to offer,
The whole roof is filled with solar panels.
Yeah, I think my living roof with trees would probably cancel out that solar energy concept. So, we would define, what we would need to do is define what mechanical equipment is, and perhaps, put an exclusion for solar panels. But that's something that, we can work through.
Okay.
I'm just jotting that down.
Okay, so am I. Okay, I like that next one.
Yeah, and this is actually in our industrial district now, part of our codified language.
Okay.
Now, and this is something that, D,
Mhm.
expressly prohibit undesired uses to ensure that special exceptions cannot apply. And Leslie, in her comments, stated, she made a comment, basically, hold on, let me go back to see her verbiage. I have that. essentially, she was commenting that she wasn't certain why we had to have prohibited uses. If we were going to formulate the ordinance, that it was, unless it was specifically enumerated, it wasn't allowed. However, there is a section in the code that we do need to ensure that we tighten up, because if there is any use that can be likened to another use, the zoning administrator could either allow it or refer it to special exception. So,
okay.
anything that we definitely don't want to occur, we need to put as prohibited uses.
Okay.
Okay? So that sort of marries that up.
Okay. I like the next one. E.
Yes, identify truck loading, vehicle storage, and dumpster location and screening requirements. And those screening requirements will likely be vague. However, when we get to the site plan issue, because they're gonna vary from site to site.
Right.
But we just want to call that out, that that is a standard of that operation, that use operating in the park, and that needs to be maintained. Because a lot of times what happens is they get their site plan, they build it, and then some of those screening, types of screening just go by the wayside. So we want to include that as a performance standard within that office park.
Okay.
And then require that all mechanical equipment, this is sort of redundant, but the solar panels, and Dr. Scott, if you have any type of language, that would, help us. Yeah, right now we allow it for residential, but we really haven't had any businesses or commercial or industrial utilize that, so.
Well, the amount of energy that it really makes an awful lot of sense.
Definitely.
And any of us are always.
Definitely. And considerations for residential districts with regard to setbacks and activities. And those, we, another part of the ordinance draft, one of the ordinance drafts, we actually had buffers in there. So that will likely be covered under that. And then this goes a little bit to what
Right, hazardous waste.
hazardous waste byproducts and waste materials, like the appropriate disposal.
Right.
They can't just
Yeah, throw it out in the
pour it
trash.
down the storm drain or,
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing, so I'll work to tighten that up for the next meeting. The other thing that we need to do, and this is most likely a conversation between Frank Dirtsball and I, to come up with a good term for the Planning Commission to consider, is identify the use to allow the approval of a shell building at the site plan stage for tenants to be approved. Now, the tricky thing with this is, for certain uses, it's not like a commercial building. So we're gonna have to work through this, but one of the language barriers that Frank and I had, these buildings are typically referred to as flex use buildings.
Yep, and that flipped everybody
However,
else.
We have flex uses already enumerated in our industrial district. So we either need to find a different term to use for the OPE, or we have to call what we're referring to as flex uses in the industrial district something different, because my aversion to allowing flex use buildings was that it allows anything deemed as a flex use in the industrial district in the office park employment district, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I don't think the IDA would have wanted that either.
No.
So we still have to come up with a magic term or a solution to that. So stay tuned.
Why don't you say build a suit?
Build to suit?
Or change, in general commercial areas, anytime you see commercial, you always see flex space. So You either do that, change the flex that you have in your
Yeah.
industrial and put the flex space, because that's what is commonly seen everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen the signs, build to suit.
Yeah, well, or flex.
Mhm.
Yeah, if we're gonna use flex, we have to rename what's in our industrial, because that's a, So, but we'll figure it out.
Okay.
And the purpose or intent statement and discussion, this also, and this is something that we can, discuss at a later time. And maybe it's something that we want to do after we've had a break with in our minds with everything we discussed tonight. But essentially, our purpose and intent statement should reflect everything that the Planning Commission determines with regard to the uses, the performance standards, requirements, as far as setbacks and buffering. So it's sort of a checklist, if you want.
This almost seems like one of the lead items because it starts to spell out the whole direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
The
we
whole
did
quality
start
of what
with
you're
it,
trying to
but
achieve.
then we've restarted a couple times, so.
Well, this is
That's
really
an
good.
understatement.
I just kept saying check, check, check.
Yeah. And
My entire career planning's been an OPE.
I know. So we just, for a sanity check,
Okay.
we want to make sure that the principles for the performance or intent statements are being met through what we're proposing. And then if there's any that we're missing, I'm sure there are.
I don't know, okay, it looks really good.
Yep.
So, and Bob and I will work on, Bob, Frank, Tom, and I, and Barney, bringing you into this too, you're not getting away. For the definitions. And another component, another thing I learned was the term advanced manufacturing, which is basically like manufacturing mostly related to your research and development sector.
Right.
So Leesburg, Virginia, actually just amended their zoning code because of the advanced manufacturing sector. So that's something we might, have to build in there as well. So technologies are changing, my friends.
It goes faster than we can keep up with it.
It,
And then that's why you
Yeah.
need to be, 20 years out.
Okay.
Okay, so next steps, Heather.
Well, do you want to talk? It's still early. Do you want to talk about that?
We have more on the agenda.
I know.
We have more on the agenda.
Well, no, just the hotels and conference centers.
Okay.
One of the comments was we needed, one of the commission members felt we needed a room cap and footprint size. I did not know where to start. I didn't know what was too little and too big, so I did some research, and there was, there's a model out there for cobblestone homes? Inns and suites. It felt like it. They cater to the smaller town versus the larger cities. So I just looked at one of their models with like a 45 room hotel and got the square footage, or the footprint. So we could generally, equate to like how many rooms for how many square feet. Because when I was considering it, I had no idea what, a typical hotel footprint would be to allow 20 rooms or, on the bottom or whatever. So that's just a place to start.
When I first read this, my initial reaction was
You're nuts.
45,
No.
let me see. Huh?
Did you think I was nuts?
No.
Okay.
No,
We
I
already
thought,
knew that, that's
Oh,
verified.
well, that's true, I'm sorry.
That 45 is very small.
my first thought was, is 45 enough? But the main impression I had was, regardless of the opportunity and the potential benefit, of an OPE, we need a hotel.
Absolutely.
Yes,
We
I totally,
need a small conference center.
We do.
Look at
Yeah.
our strategic location
yep,
between major population centers in central Maryland. This would be such an asset
Mhm.
to the town.
I think we need probably more than 45.
I would
But I
think.
didn't want to put out there a 300-room hotel
Mm-hmm.
center.
I don't know what the right
I-
number is.
I was gonna like start small. What'd you say?
That limits, that at the moment is the limiting factor to this project.
What is that?
What?
Water, and primarily not the OPE buildings, but actually the hotel and or restaurant that would go with that.
Okay.
Those are huge water users out of our budget of water.
I know, but
Okay.
I don't wanna say that we don't have to worry about it because we don't have water right now. I have to plan for the
For the-
use.
mhm.
We
Yeah,
have
we will.
good
If we-
planning.
If we
But I'm
don't
just
have the
stating
water
that,
now,
yeah.
we'll find it.
Okay,
Bob's
so-
gonna find
That's
it.
fine, yeah, but I'm just pointing out that
Yeah.
compared to the industrial buildings that would be in there for the most part.
Okay.
Right.
That one
Good point.
facility itself is taking a
But
chunk.
this still may be our best shot
Oh, no
to
question.
get
In return on
this kind of
investment,
amenity.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, sir, you wanted to add something?
Again, this is a very macro basis, may seem a little out of, but just recently talking about the San Francisco area and how expensive hotels are because of all the people that come in for research and development in the area. Now, that might seem a far cry from Mount Airy at this point, but if you're going to get biotech or high-tech type of industries that are gonna provide good jobs and good pay and close proximity to your homes, you need to look a little bit further than 20 or 30 or 40 rooms.
Right.
You have an opportunity, and your comment about where you're located strategically. So I just asked you to, and the water is the limiting factor, but this is really critical for not just the park, but I think for the region. So we need it.
Well, even for the residents.
You go up,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
26,
Yeah.
nothing on 26.
No.
Oh, yeah.
There's
You-
nothing between 695 and Frederick.
That's,
Yep.
you have to go,
Yeah.
you have to go to Frederick. in
Yeah,
order
so if
to-
you have a
in
family
order to
gathering or
ride
family
around.
reunion, you tell them to go stay in Frederick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we agree with that statement. It needs
So-
to be, we have a tendency around here to say, okay, we've got a capacity of 100 now, so let's build a building that's 75, when we really need to be building 150.
Could
I would
we,
agree with that
That's
statement,
it.
100%, thank
That,
you.
that all comes from how we build schools around here.
Footprint.
Could build-
Right,
75% of
like a
capacity.
maximum, so that we're saying, okay, you know, we embrace a hotel and a conference center up to how many square feet of footprint, and I don't know what that number is, I
Right.
just,
Okay, Bill?
Well, and then
Could-
comes the discussions of a restaurant inside, a bar inside, and, you know, how does that affect Lorenzo's? And, you know, places like that, and we're very concerned about that too.
And the carnival grounds.
And the carnival grounds.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. As an action item, could, just to give us a feeling of scale and impact in water usage, could we bracket this with maybe something in the 45 range, something in the 65 to 75, I don't know, maybe some categories,
Mhm.
and then project what
50,
the difference,
75, and 100.
what the difference in water usage would be, so we could see that and
Right.
understand that.
That'd be good.
And so then if we got into a desire to do some trade-off analysis and so forth,
Right.
we'd have some solid material to do it.
Okay.
is that good, Barney?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so, maybe 45 rooms on the first floor. I had to start somewhere.
No, that's okay.
Um,
Just allocate enough footprint for your maximum potential
Yeah.
Right.
case scenario.
Because
Yeah.
it won't make sense for them to build a whole enchilada.
No.
Mhm.
And there was something, it's almost like $63,000 to build one room, I was reading.
Wow.
Well, idiot lose.
$63,000? A room?
A room.
Cool.
Whoa.
I comforted no one wasn't that nice.
I'm in the wrong business.
That's why I was like, wow. So I think, you know, you have to be able to like rent enough rooms
To cover it.
1, 2, 3,
yeah.
4, 5. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
5 at my place, I'll give you.
Because I thought there was a comma in the wrong place, but No, it
Well-
was,
Like $100 a square foot.
it was.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right,
that's
did
not
you
big,
add up?
That's not big, that's not cheap.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, these days.
So, if you guys can help me, like, with a number,
Uh-huh.
like as to what you think, that's where I need guidance.
Well, 45 definitely seems small to me.
Okay, well, I would rather start small.
Bill, what do you think?
What about the 50, 75, and 100? Is just,
I think if you go with those three, 50, 75, and 100, you got small, medium, large. You know, and you can go for, and
Well-
that gives you something.
Nothing over 100.
Something that compares that,
Well-
you know, subtracts and multiplies easy.
yeah, you'll understand the proportions. You'll understand the proportions, and, you know, it wouldn't be, it would be
Okay.
sequential.
Okay.
They would start at a reasonable, and they would wait till the OP was filled enough too. I mean,
Right.
they'd have to cover some of that initial investment.
Yes, Madam Chair, Barney has his.
Yes, Brian.
I was just looking up the water requirements for hotels. One room is 120 gallons a day, so a hotel of 60 rooms would be about 7,200 gallons a day. Just want to give you an
Did you hear
idea.
that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Say that again.
7,200 gallons a day for 60 rooms.
For 60 rooms, it would be 7,200 gallons a day. Is the
That's not
projected
too
use from the
bad.
state.
No.
What'd you say one was? 120? One at 120?
One room is 120 gallons a day. Yes. They estimate two.
Don't drink a bottle of water, nobody drinks the water.
Well, I guess that's the laundry and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Using the bathroom, using the shower.
Does that include a restaurant?
Hmm?
That's just the rooms.
No. That's just for a hotel room.
Motel room.
120,
Wow.
and they
That's a
assume
lot.
2 people, 60 gallons per day per person.
You don't do that in California anymore.
Yeah.
Shower with a friend.
Okay, what else, Heather? You're keeping us on task.
Okay, there was, and while we had Frank and Dr. Scott, since, you know, he's part of it now, the restaurant, there was, the restaurant with the caveat of being 5,000 square feet or larger. There was a comment, like a question mark, like 5,000 square feet or larger. So the rationale behind the 5,000 square feet or larger was to ensure that the downtown zone wasn't impacted. Was that correct?
Yes.
Craig? Was that the reason? That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
yep, that was.
So are there?
It wouldn't be a boutique restaurant, it would be a restaurant like, you know, Applebee's or something.
Chain more than like
Different
large,
type.
large chain.
I see. And that's part of, when you have people working in the area, they don't want them to take an hour and a half of lunch.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which so wouldn't be competing with what we have. That was the whole point.
It would, okay, so is there a consensus to stay with that 5,000 square feet or larger for now? Or do you,
I'm okay with it. Guys?
You gotta start somewhere, so
Yeah.
I think that may be a practical consideration. If we're talking about a max of one per campus or
Mhm.
75 acres,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems reasonable, it seems practical.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other question I wondered then was the one about cafeterias.
I didn't think we should limit them if it's for the use of the business.
Let it be their call?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if they wanna
didn't
build
see
it,
it
then-
limiting that. I mean, the convenience store we talked about, you know, one, Frank, right?
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Where is that?
I saw it too. That was fire.
Convenience on the second page.
Thank you.
You had a deli, you had cafeteria,
Mhm.
you had restaurant,
Delicatessen.
and then you had convenience store.
Yeah, like the convenience store, I agree with, you know, Frank and I agreed that we needed something for the employees who have to go get a pack of gum or pantyhose or,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. The
And this was not
delicatessens.
gonna have gas stations.
No
Right,
gas
no gas
stations.
station, no, just this,
No.
this convenience.
That's good. No
Thank
gas
you for
station.
that clarification, Mr. Dirtsball. Okay. And then, now the delicatessens, there was a commission comment to limit the number of delicatessens, but I think that's gonna limit itself.
Yeah, I wouldn't,
And I agree with you.
yeah,
that,
I
you
wouldn't
know,
limit it.
No, that's outside the building.
Okay. Because sometimes they have convenience
Yeah,
stores and-
Conchetta's is.
Would these be able to operate outside normal business hours of the businesses in the park? Is it impractical? I don't know.
Delis or
Yeah, all the ones
restaurants like
in the
that,
air
they
park,
run Breakfast, lunch.
Yeah.
And they're done by two or
and
3
all,
o'clock.
all the
Mhm.
ones in the air park are closed up by 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
So practically speaking, there's not enough business for
Right.
them to sustain themselves after that anyway? Is that what you're saying?
Right, because everybody's going.
Gone.
Right.
He said it was
That
all
has-
about that.
Yeah, limited hours, 7 AM to 10 PM.
Mhm.
I think that's fair.
That works.
And up to 2,500 square feet. And Frank, I did research as to what the convenience stores already in town, and that's a good range. It's, so. And then one of the comments was the requirement to incorporate green architecture and green building principles. And I think that this is a really great thing to encourage. I don't know that we're at the point in time where we should require it.
No,
That's exactly right.
I don't think we should.
Better for us to incentivize,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
to motivate them to think in those terms
Right.
and get some reimbursement or some benefit as a result than to legislate thou shalt or shalt.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, then
that-
we're
that's
backing
not a
ourselves
step
into an
that
empty
I feel
space.
comfortable taking right now, especially when, because these, green building principles, they're costly up front.
Mhm.
And so.
Let
It's
the
a-
owners
it's-
decide.
Those were
It's a
just
relatively new way to build buildings
Mhm.
now, and there's, I don't think we have a real good handle on
No,
on
I
what
don't.
it actually
And
is.
No,
we would-
and we will at the
Right.
end of the next 5 years, but right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah,
Yeah,
We have to
we
learn.
don't want to scare away potential,
Right.
no, and even, as it is, especially for the OPE, we have a vision of, higher architectural standards. And that in itself is going to raise the cost per square foot
it's our
perhaps.
preference.
Mhm.
If we add on top of that, that can be a concern.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So encourage but not require. Same thing as well for the OPE, at least for requiring, encouraging rather than requiring a pedestrian-friendly environment.
Yeah.
I gave some comments. We do want to have, public walks. We want it to have a walkability factor. That will be covered with concept plan and site plan. Like meandering paths between sites.
That's,
Eh,
that's it.
Yeah, that's a discussion.
The best tech parks have that kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
capability built
I
into
don't,
it.
yeah, I don't feel that we should be incorporating that into the zoning classification itself.
No.
But let's rather wait and have that discussion at site plan, and subdivision
Yeah.
process.
Okay.
I would say this, one of the concerns we're going to have is positioning and selling this, if you will, to nearby neighbors.
Mhm.
Folks who live in the area, have lived there for a good
Public
period
relations,
of
Yeah.
time. It's
yes.
public relations. Again, a potential benefit like this, encouragement to, here's opportunity for couples and families, late evening, whatever, to go walk and stroll or
Mhm.
whatever, and
Mhm.
they're encouraged to do so. Those kinds of small things could be very helpful.
I agree. I do agree, Chairman.
Your hotel's gonna be a selling point, so people can have people in from out of town.
Yep.
And they don't have to stay with
These
them.
places aren't
Yep.
even open, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the hotel is, I think, the majority of it is going to be occupied by residential families, so
Mhm.
that needs to be considered in the room cap as well. We have nothing here.
Oh, I know.
So if we have a large company and there's a group, that need to stay there, they might not have room.
Mhm.
So You know, so that's the other aspect we need to think about. But as far as the public outreach, I do think that, you know, when we have further conversations with not only the OPE and the Harrison-LaShire, we should partner with, you know, Carroll County, because there's county residents as well. And Andrea and I and Phil Hager, director of the comprehensive planning now, we had a brief discussion that we should really come together to partner in the information dissemination. So,
Okay.
just thoughts.
Okay.
So,
That's good.
What's next?
oh my goodness, we have an agenda. MXD status. I do have comments back from the town attorney. I will share those with the planning commission. I apologize that I haven't had time to concentrate on that just yet, but I definitely wanted to focus on OPE so we could.
Oh, come on, Heather,
make
you don't
some-
need to sleep. What are you thinking about?
Make some substantial progress, which I really think we did this evening on OPE, so thank you very much. And the Maryland 27 corridor study, we met with Sabra Wang and Associates and the planning consultant on May 14th. We're actually meeting with them this Thursday. We're having a kickoff stakeholders meeting with the State Highway and some representatives from Carroll County and Frederick County, just to discuss the approach and where we're headed. So,
Is that a public meeting?
Not yet. We're just trying to come up to speed with the approach, but that information will be public in a couple months. There will be a public stakeholders meeting, and we'll let you know when that is. So, sign ordinance, Lisa, thank heavens, and Annalise, they're focusing on getting the sign ordinance presentation ready. We're meeting next week to hopefully finalize some things. And we'll send it out to the planning commission just to make sure that what we've determined, what a certain term means is what you guys have in mind as well. It's fun.
Yes.
So we are plugging along, so thank you for your patience. The recap of the Carroll County kickoff meeting, Leslie, I'll let you decide when we
I'm Lindy.
You know what, Bill, you've got me doing that. You were calling everybody a different name. So Lindy, Leslie.
Yes.
Sorry.
LL.
LL. Lindy. Lindy and Bill were at the Carroll County kickoff meeting.
And so are you.
When I was May 6th, and Bill spoke a little bit about it, but did you guys have anything to share?
It was a long evening, but it was well worth it. Finding out what the county has to offer the towns, like the GIS and all that, that, you know, we stress about how expensive maps are, and we're like, oh, we can do that. And then the hearing, you know, the roads, the how we get our roads, and that was an eye-opener about, you know.
And that really, you know, the one thing I really took away from there was that the town being proactive with the corridor study is so important, because State Highway, just by the nature of their entire scope,
Yep.
they have to be reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah.
And the Maryland 32 interchange, that study was done 20 years ago.
Yeah, and then when they pointed out that the thing that got it done was Howard County paid for it.
Yeah.
That Howard County put the money on the table, and that's what got it done.
Yeah, State Highway, they're gonna come in when we have a really bad problem. Our residents deserve better than that.
And that's part of the reason that we're pushing for a regional, you know, joint planning dialogue.
Absolutely.
So we can surface these concerns and needs and goals,
Right.
you know, as they should be. It should be shared and it should be in advance. We've got to get ahead of the curve.
Right, we don't want issues.
They also sent a recap of all the presentations. Do you think we should get that, forward that out to the planning commission?
Yes,
Because
yes.
I remember getting it, and it's
Yeah,
not
I
in my
had a
inbox.
problem opening that zip file.
I haven't tried, but I can
Yes.
try opening.
For virtually every priority that we've identified in our master plan update, we heard one or more potential resources. that might indeed be of value to us. That's available at the county level, it's available at the state level, okay? Couple that with identifying some actual communities that have done the kind of things we want to do, now we're getting some traction.
Yeah, and it was interesting hearing what the other towns in Carroll County, what their issues are. Just find, you know, what, the guy in Hampstead where it takes 20 minutes to go 4 miles
Yeah.
or something like that, and like, oh
And
my
that's
God.
after the bypass, you know, that section of the bypass.
So,
through.
it-
What we basically heard was there's a whole lot more mileage in Carroll County besides the mileage of 27 within our town borders that have qualified for additional lanes for an extended period of time. A lot more.
You're saying it's harder to qualify, or it's
No,
harder to get?
I'm saying,
Results.
I'm saying it's a combination of things. I'm sure they're in a deficit funding mode. They have all kind of budget crunches at SHA, all right? But because this is basically a commuter county, 60+% of all working adults commute to a job outside of the county, okay? This is not gonna change. It won't change unless we can get things like OPEs up and running, and we can create a reason for more folks to stay home and be able to work closer to their home, okay? The other point of this is things like traffic management and all of that, it's got to be a shared dialogue. Absolutely, it's got to be. There's got to be multiple resources. There's got to be multiple jurisdictions working on it. We'll throttle ourselves. What's not sustainable is the old routine of commute, live far away from your job, and so forth and so on. Doesn't work. That's why we're going after MXD. That's why we're going after OPE. That was confirmed to me.
And that was
What's
after.
happening right now with the expansion of Route 97 from 140 because of the expansion of industry. The industry went, Norbreak and others are out there, Carlisle, now the roads have to expand to meet the demand of industry calling. We need the industry in order to improve the amount of non-residential taxes that are charged.
Yeah,
They're 12% or less, Howard's probably 20.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's after Bill had a three and a half hour car ride to get.
I was coming up from a conference in Chantilly.
And there was a storm, and there was
Took me
and a
3.5
thunderstorm.
hours.
Yep.
So the commission info exchange, Bill and I did not make it.
I didn't.
So Bob.
And Bob stepped in at the last minute.
I had, you know, Bill and I had talked several times about what he wanted out of the info exchange, so I was pretty well versed in it. I was kind of excited to hear how everybody, last year, they were beginning to talk about things in depth, what they did. And I think we had a lot of that in depth and actually
they also
curiosity
rambled on
and questions to the point afterward where there was some very good questions being asked afterwards, you know, what's EDC doing? You know, how are we going to, EDC, we think it would be beneficial if EDC would have some money that they could contribute to some of this stuff. And all kinds of questions. Bill McCullough gave a real good,
Really did.
a real good 10 minutes on what EDC had been doing, because it's very difficult for any of the other commission members to actually see what's happening in our commission. You know, we're so focused here that streets and roads, you think they're doing nothing, well, they're not doing nothing, they're paving streets. And, you know, recycling and sanitation, all this stuff is, and how they plan to, you know, bring this all together for this new master plan. And they were all tickled to death that they had been involved in the process. And involving them in the process, we also involved more citizens than we ever even thought about being involved in this master plan. And I think we have a document that everybody can live with. And that's about as good as you're gonna get.
This was, obviously,
But the
these
info exchange was a
exchange,
good,
you know.
not only was it a lot of fun, and we always have a lot of fun at that thing, there was a lot of good information that got passed back and forth. And that's really important stuff.
This is those info exchanges is a tool to build partnership between the commissions. It's also, this was a critical one because this is a point of transition from producing the master plan to beginning to implement it. That's something we want to be doing together in tandem, and it's happening.
And I want to give a special thanks to Lisa for making it happen. For
Fabulous.
coordinating everybody, for
Fabulous.
coordinating the venue, for everything. So that
Thank you,
was
Lisa.
Lisa.
Well, the one thing that goes unnoticed, and I think Pat and I both tried to touch on this, is town staff. Okay, we're here at 9 o'clock at night dreaming about what we want, and we pass it along to you guys, and you guys make it happen. Town staff is awesome in this
Yeah.
town. Every last one of you.
Well, thank you.
I would agree.
Thank you.
And the volunteers are just as awesome.
Absolutely, you know,
So
we
it's-
couldn't do it without our volunteers.
No, we could not. Nope.
Okay, on that last kumbaya note,
Next planning commission meeting, July 27th.
okay, any other comments?
Nope.
Okay.
Annalise has 3 zoning reports for you since we're doing some catch up.
Okay.
Perhaps we should go ahead fairly quickly and ask all of our commission members to confirm if that's an open date for them, and as far as they can tell, we will be able to attend.
It's our regular one, so it
I
shouldn't.
Yeah,
understand.
it shouldn't be,
understand,
yeah.
however,
I think I
I-
will be on vacation.
I
I'm not
overstand.
100% certain, but it's looking like vacation time.
and
Who's on vacation? Is Pat?
Patty.
That's your vacation week.
Yeah, it looks like
You
it.
know, but you make all the other ones.
Oh.
You
good.
deserve that.
You do.
So I get
You're
a
very
pass.
regular.
Yeah, you get a pass.
you're very regular.
And if you want, we can figure out how to Skype you in, have you sit
Yeah,
right
that's
here at the
right.
table.
Okay, on that,
Patty, we won't figure that out.
Thank you. Well, actually, where I'm going, it doesn't have service, so.
That's the best vacation.
Heather's just afraid
okay.
we're gonna Skype
So
her in
on that
October.
note, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
A
I'll
second?
second it.
Okay, thank you so much. We're adjourning at 9:54, 9:56.
We did it.
Yippee!
Awesome meeting.
Very good.
Thank you guys very much.
Way to go, Madam Chairman.
This